everybody? Welcome to an extra special episode of Frame Trap. Joining me this episode, we have Ian Hink.
It's Don!
And Don! The first time Don Casanova has ever been on Frame Trap.
Hello.
How are you doing,
Hello.
Don?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to be hosting you through this. Beautiful. I am Ben Moore. And Don, Easy Allies, Brandon just had a kid, is a father for the first time.
Yes.
You
Yes.
are a father.
Yes.
How old is Charlie at this point?
He's a little over 2 years old now. Turned 2 in March.
Turned 2 in March.
Yeah. Whole different world from what Jonesy's going on. And there's a bunch of different worlds every month.
Right. Okay, so I'm not a dad.
Yeah.
What is it like being a dad and fitting in video games? Like, how does that process work for you?
Oh, yeah. It's extremely challenging. I'm still adjusting to it.
Sure.
I mean, you really got to, there's quite a bit of just like, it's pretty unbelievable how you learn to, new ways of managing your time.
Yeah.
But also, you do have to make sacrifices sometimes, you know? I can't go on 30-hour straight binges of Jurassic World Evolution like I may want to anymore, without people suffering.
Do you wistfully think of those days where you're like, oh man, 30-hour binges of Jurassic World Evolution? I miss those.
Yeah, you yearn for that sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
But
Look what's on the Coke can.
Jurassic
World right at the summer.
But obviously, as the cliche goes, which is true, as you probably hear a million times, there's a lot of positive sides to it also, though, obviously, that, fulfill you in amazing ways. So, that's life.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you got to sacrifice certain things, make new time. But it is amazing. Time management is incredible how much you can rework your schedule to fit tons of stuff in.
Yeah. Has it changed, I guess, the platforms that you play on or the types of games that you play at all? Or
Definitely the types of games. I mean, honestly, it's I almost pretty much don't take on many RPGs or anything in any sense of the word anymore recently in the last couple of years. And also, I mean, in general, I somewhat steer clear of strictly plot-driven games what would be a good example of a good game, but that just Last of Us, for instance, something like that, where you're just, have to be connected emotionally to the story, and if you have a little break in a weird place, it can really disrupt that flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's in a lot of ways. That's how I've been in a lot of cases. I tend to prefer not arcade style gameplays, but games where you can just get in, get out, and you're not always having to remember. Even if it has a story, that's not so critical to what the funnest aspects of the game maybe are.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Ian, do you feel like just throughout your life, the way that you play video games has changed pretty dramatically?
Yeah. I mean, I play when I visit my son at the juvenile corrections center. We play a little Switch. They let me bring my Switch.
Yeah. What do you
you can slip the Joy-Con through the
I
little.
Slip the Joy-Con
what
through
is
the
your
little
What is your
slot.
child's name?
Huh?
What is your child's name?
Also Charlie.
Oh, wow.
Coincidentally, I don't know if
I
I've
named
ever
him
done.
after.
Yeah, I
Have
don't
you
know
named
if I
my
ever
son
talked.
after
I said, Don, you've gotten the second chance I'll never have.
Set him right.
Set
this
him
time.
right.
Have the two Charlies ever met?
No, God, no.
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
That
I
would
want
be.
a bad influence.
No, yeah, that would be.
It's
I
crazy
mean, I
that-
love my kid, but oof.
It's crazy that the reason you hate Smash Brothers is because Charlie loves it so much.
Yeah,
It just kind of,
That was the source of our original falling out. We've since paved it over. Life's too short. But.
Yeah. What do you bond over? Any snipper clips action?
Mario Maker. Yeah, we played a little snipper clips. He deals with some rage, so sometimes we would hit a little roadblock emotionally there, and Mrs. They call her Mrs. Thorazine, but that's not a real name. I don't know what her real name is, but the
They
nurse
made
would
up
come.
Mrs. Thorazine?
No, yeah, there's a nurse that comes and gives them, when they get upset. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But, yeah, I don't know. Lately, Mario Maker, we've been playing that together.
Hey, what do you say we talk about some Mario Maker?
Sure.
It's
I
crazy
love
that
it.
you've been playing Mario Maker 1 when Mario Maker 2 is out.
Yeah.
No.
They have to vet them.
I'm talking about Mario Maker 2. So we're kind of coming at this from different perspectives. I haven't spent a single second making a level, and I feel like maybe you guys have spent most of your time making levels. And so I guess from a creative perspective, how do you feel Mario Maker 1 and 2 compare to each other?
I mean, well, I've only really made levels using the stylus. I haven't tried using the controller at all. And we streamed it the opening night.
Yeah.
And he got the TV. He drew the short straw and got the TV. So he had to use controllers. I've still never done it. Is it terrible? I don't know.
No, it's not terrible, but it took there was a little fumbling around at first, and there still is a little bit. But even with this, the stylus. It also has its challenges. You know, it's so funny. I've said it kind of before, but the original Mario Maker for the Wii U was like, I think, the just most perfect marriage between software and hardware that ever. I don't know what you'd call it, but the way the gamepad was for the Wii U, everything about it in conjunction with how it worked with the first Mario Maker was so unbelievably perfect.
Right.
And so that was one of my early concerns with this game, were the fact that they weren't showing the stylus in the same kind of way as they were before, all this stuff, and also just trying to imagine it. I just didn't see how it was going to be equal to, even, or better than the original, which so far, I got to say, it really quite isn't, just in terms of that interaction. You know, the way, even on undocked mode, you're really like, after a couple hours, you know, my hand cramps anyway playing Switch after a couple hours straight undocked. But especially with Mario Maker, because you're always holding it with one hand pretty much, right? And
my hand was definitely getting tired when I was trying to make the pinball level. I was like, oh my god.
Those thin, you know, without having the handle that the Wii U gamepad had, it makes such a difference.
It seemed like Mario Maker 1 was designed around the hardware, whereas Mario Maker 2 kind of adapted to what the Switch is.
Yeah.
But when you say it's not quite as good, not quite as good of a marriage there, like how dramatic do you think is that for you? Like, is it like, oh man, this isn't nearly as good as Mario Maker 1, or like this mostly works, but it's not quite as good as Mario Maker 1? Right,
yeah, it's just not quite as good, I would say. I mean, even honestly, using the Pro controller when you're docked it works quite good to the point where, like, when I jump back on touchscreen, I'm almost kind of trying to use those controls sometimes, you know, because it automatically switches to touchscreen and kind of disables, I think you're right, joystick in the same kind of way and stuff. So it's serviceable, like it works good enough, I think, with the way they've done it. It's just before, it was like flawless.
Sure.
It was flawless. It was so unbelievable, even including the touchscreen itself, the interaction with the touchscreen itself. It's good now. It's really not like problematic, but before it was perfect. It was perfect.
But like with the game itself, though, like with all the new features and like sloping hills. And like, I find Mario Maker 2 has within it, you know, controls aside, so much more stuff. Like, it's a much better game, I find, than 1 in that regard.
Yes.
So it's like, kind of you have to relearn how to use it, but a little bit. But I think as a game, it's, oh man.
Yeah, playing it, there hasn't been a moment where I'm like, oh, I wish this was. I just, like, if I look at it real critically in that sense, you know, there's a noticeable difference. But the fun is still through the roof. There's no, you know, we're just scratching the surface so far.
Is there, like I said, I've only been playing Mario Maker 2. I did the story, and then I'm doing user-created levels. I'm just playing through them. But from a creation standpoint, is there anything that they do within the game that makes it easier to do on Switch? Like, have they changed the interface in terms of how you're just scrolling through your toolbox, essentially, and placing things out in the level to make it easier?
The first thing that pops to my mind is they sort of have adopted phone touchscreen language more than, like, on the Wii U, you would shake things to change their properties sometimes,
right?
Which is weird. Like, it's definitely a different, like a quirky little like Nintendo Wii U kind of a thing. Whereas now you long press on stuff and the menu pops up.
Do you
like
miss
you
that
would
quirkiness
on a phone.
at all?
I've definitely tried to shake things a couple of times. I don't think it does anything.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing that goes directly back to the hardware, because forgive me, I don't know the two names of the types of touchscreen, right?
Capacitive and the other one.
Yeah. So before, when you shook it, that was like a good feeling because you're shaking on a slate. It almost felt like you're just scratching ice with like a slippery piece of plastic. So it was like nice. It was like there's no friction there.
A feeling we all know well.
No, the ice cube demonstration. I'm bringing it back. I was trying to describe a frictionless sensation that people could envision easily. Most people have experience with ice.
I was with you until he had pointed it out, and I just couldn't help but laugh.
How would you describe a frictionless experience that most people could relate to?
The Wii U screen was like a velveteen, and you
go.
scratched it with like a ball bearing.
Yeah.
But like a frictionless ball bearing.
An oil-soaked
ball bearing with like tongs.
30, what viscosity? Synthetic, I guess.
Yeah, synthetic.
I feel like certain combinations of guests on this show provide different different tones, and that whole conversation right there, that little 1 minute segment, couldn't get it without Ian and Don.
Well, yeah, but
it felt good anyway.
It felt good, and whereas now shaking feels silly, right? Because there's friction.
You feel like a fool.
You feel like a fool. There's so
every
much
time
friction.
you try, you're like, right. What a fool I've been.
One thing I have noticed, though, that I would say is an improvement for sure, and I haven't gotten into the game nearly enough yet to, so I'm sure there's more. But the most immediate thing, the wheel menus, I do like them because they categorize everything in a much easier to understand and quicker to navigate way. So before it was a big grid pattern that wasn't really organized that clearly, and so you just sort of memorized where everything was to find it previously, but you'd have to search a lot. Whereas now, not only is each wheel a category, enemies, power up, etc., but they've got like a sub menu on top that you can quickly jump through the categories. So when you want to locate something, it seems like it's like a lot easier, which is nice.
Only once or twice have there been like, I've assumed something would be under gizmos and it was under terrain or something like that. I don't remember the example, but like that's only happened a couple of times. Their categorization is pretty good.
Yeah, I think I haven't noticed yet. I wonder though, is there a way to bring up those sub menus of characters from the wheel instead of like if you want it to be a red Koopa instead of green? Do you have to do it with a touch screen?
I haven't tried long pressing on the wheel.
Yeah, I just thought of that.
Could. But like you can't. The one that's a little weird is like it's 2 steps to get like to place a blue block. You have to put a red, change it to blue, and then it changes your tool to a blue. So there are a few little weird things like that, but they're not bad or clunky really. It's just it makes sense within the logic of the thing, and it's an elegant way to do it. Instead of having 400 things on the menu, they have 100, and then each of them have 4 sub things.
Do you think the magic is still there in the same way? Because I just feel like the attitude around the original Mario Maker was this is just so novel, and the way they did it is just so quirky and clever, and it just was, people didn't get, there hadn't been a creation game like that I think people really rallied around in that way before. Obviously there were things like Little Big Planet, but it felt very different. I think it was the simplicity of 2D Mario that people really got behind. Is the spark as strong for Mario Maker 2?
Absolutely. I mean, you said the 2 things I was going to say is like the novelty of the first one is one of the things that made it so special, and the simplicity of Mario and just how perfect, like how well controlling Mario is. It's the perfect storm of like an intuitive, like it's a kind of a weird learning curve for Mario Maker, but it's not as hard by any stretch as Little Big Planet, or certainly not as hard as Dreams.
Right.
And it's even way simpler than Trials or any of these other level makers. It's just like you can clunk around for like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes in Mario Maker and then make like, understand enough to make a decent level, in the next hour or whatever. And so the magic is still there, with bells on. It's and I do think they've put more, like the fact that it has like a pretty robust story, pretty cute, like quaint little story mode. To me the novelty is still there too, kind of. I don't know. I just think it's like my favorite game this year so far, for sure.
Yeah, what's great about the story is you really just get to a point where you have a ton of choice, where it's like, oh, this is something like it's just a collection of levels, and they're very clearly marked by difficulty. And so if I want to break from like user created levels or doing something else, I can just go in there and do a story level real quick and know that it's of pretty high quality, and then I can pop out, or I can do a bunch altogether. And I think that flexibility and just having that story mode there in the way that it is works pretty well.
And they didn't like phone it in. Like I expected the story mode to literally just be like, I mean, it is a list of levels, but there's a little overworld thing and like sort of, and like it's kind of funny. There are things that happen that made me laugh. Like there's a thing that happens with Yamamura, the tutorial bird, like halfway through the story that I was like actually thought was really funny.
Yeah, it's nice like when you go and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go over here a little bit, and then you find another character and you get another set of levels. Yeah, it's nice. I wouldn't say like anything has blown my mind with it, but I do appreciate that it is.
Like I said,
there.
it's quaint.
Yeah,
like,
it is. I think quaint is a good word.
I'm
for
happy that it exists.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think the magic. Yeah, it hasn't lost the magic at all. I mean, I know that like the level, for instance, that we started on the stream. I was like, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna finish that real quick. Like, I'm just gonna finish that end part I needed to do real quick. The other morning I got on, and then I ended up like, oh, it's sort of getting a different idea, then sort of getting a different idea, and going, and like, you know, it was like 3.5 hours later. I was just gonna finish it up real quick to publish it for like 30 minutes. But you're like lost in making it.
Yeah.
And yeah, to what you said, it's like you can spend. Mario is like so well known universally, right? The simple act of jumping on a platform, mushroom in the question mark, like everyone knows Mario and feels comfortable with Mario to a certain extent, like people that don't play games even, right? It's in a lot of sense. And so the understanding's there, and yeah, just the style of game, super simple. In 20 minutes, you make a wonderful little fun little thing, but then, 20 days and you can make a masterwork,
Right.
Yeah.
And so
That's
that
a lot of
complexity
investment.
is there,
Right.
but and then the only thing that surprises me a little bit, I mean, is that there still are quite a few limitations in terms of like the assets they give you right off the bat. Like I'm a little surprised they didn't give you more things that they, from each specific game and stuff like that. And in the original one, when it came out, that happened, and we kind of assumed it was going to be, well, they're going to release several DLC packs with assets, and that never happened really at all, other than sort of the promotional type things they did with the Mercedes car and all that weird stuff. But
they added checkpoints later.
They did
guess
add a couple little.
the other day.
Yeah, that's
But
true. They did
those
add
are more
that.
like patches than.
They were sort of like
up,
patch
like
type
DLCs.
things. Yeah. But so here you do have definitely more backgrounds and all that, but there still are certain odd limitations and certain they held back. You say there's so many things from like Super Mario where like why aren't the dolphins there? Little things like that, and like a lot of the creatures or. So it's curious, or why do you have to, why can you only do the raising water on the forest background and things like that? I'm sure there's still a lot I have to discover about the game, though. So.
Sure. Do you think, even with all the new stuff that they've added into Mario Maker 2, there are too many limitations? Or
maybe not too much. There's enough there, right, that it's a very satisfying, wonderful game. It's just having... And a lot of those limitations, as we've said many times in the past, that like breeds the creativity, right? Having limited stuff to work with really, truly does make you more creative solutions, you find, which is great. But I was surprised because of how limited it was that they didn't just blow that part out of it and being like, we're giving you everything, which was kind of the feeling I got when they first showed the slope and you slid down and there's like all those creatures. I was like, oh, they're just going to throw everything in the kitchen sink in this one now. This is going to be great, I
mean, maybe they still will, but they wanted... I mean, like, the original game, they locked most of the assets out by actual days of getting...
that was weird,
asinine.
Yeah, that was weird.
But obviously, thankfully, they did not do that this time. But maybe they are going to add more things in DLC this time in sort of that kind of a way, except they're controlling it. And instead of days, it's like weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's wouldn't be mad at them for that, I guess.
No, that'd be great.
That'd be cool.
But there's enough to work with for sure. I mean,
and like you said, like limitation breeds ingenuity for sure. I kind of almost prefer that there's not just like a crazy amount of stuff, just because it makes you think like, oh, okay, I could use these little cannon blasters to weigh down this seesaw and do like really weird stuff.
It's crazy how just a couple of things, just a few quick examples of items that weren't in Mario Maker 1 that can make levels feel completely different. Like nothing that I played in Mario Maker 1 exactly. Like the cart has really led to some pretty cool creative things, and the claw, the way that the people use the claw is like not everybody uses it. It feels like in a slightly different way, and it's been interesting to see all of those applications. I feel like with Mario Maker, you get a pretty good sampling of like the spectrum of humanity. Like you get the people where you're like, I don't know how you could be so clever, and just like really pushing themselves to be creative. And then you get the other people where it's like, you don't like people, and that's how you're choosing to express it is through this Mario Maker level.
Well, and like what I love about it is the shared community and even the story levels. Like I made that pinball level, and I used donut floor or whatever and springs all the way up to simulate the launch mechanism of a pinball machine. And then one of the story levels where you're supposed to like fall down and not touch the ground used the donut floor things and the new tornado, I can't remember what they're called, whirlwind?
Yeah.
A whole row of whirlwind things. And I was like, oh, that's basically exactly what I did except with whirlwinds, and it's faster. So it's like a better way to do what I did. But I love stuff like that where you can come up with totally different solutions to the same problem, and both are valid. And it's you see that kind of creativity going on all the time. Like what one person will use to do a thing, another person will use something totally different to do the same thing, and it's just so cool. And you can like take ideas from each other in the story mode and everything. It's neat.
Just
I love it.
watching other allies play your guys' level and Kyle's level, it is
Kyle's level, man.
So fascinating. I love the process of like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Like that moment that you have as creators where somebody pushes your level in a different way and it kind of like expands your like idea of what a player is going to do, and then I'm sure that informs you when you make your next level, and just that process. It feels like real game. It feels like the process that actual game developers would go through.
That thing that Kyle,
testing.
The thing that Kyle did, where you go through the door and are in that like airship.
Oh, God.
I was like,
such a
whoa!
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Like,
I was
oh
still
my
thinking about that the other day. I was like, that was such a brilliant.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how he did that.
It was
I mean, I know how he did it, but it's just like, whoa.
It was really clever.
I feel like part of the reason that I haven't made a level yet is I just get so intimidated and here's where that feeling comes from, and I want to know if either of you have gotten that same feeling where I'll go on a play level and I'll be like, I would never think of that. That's so clever. And then you think to yourself, I'll never think of something that clever. Do you ever have those moments where you just see something that's just either so well executed or so inventive that it discourages you, I guess?
I usually get that with film and music. If I hear something that just like transcendent, and I'm just like, well, I'll never make anything that good.
Right.
But it's like you can't get caught up in that kind of thinking. You just got to kind of go for it in this life, you know? You just kind of do stuff.
Don, as a Mario Maker expert, do you ever get that sensation?
Not that sensation. I like definitely recognize when I see like Kyle's level, for instance. I was like, wow, I probably would never think of something like that. It's so clever. But it's like respect you feel. You don't feel. I personally don't feel intimidation by that. I just feel like it's like a lot of the music levels you see people do a lot of posted where they do a whole musical automated Mario's just you don't even move and he's being moved through the whole level. It's just like, wow, it's awesome. It's like exciting. If anything, it's like sort of motivating because it gets you excited and you just recognize like, oh, well, the style of what I create is different, One thing I get caught up in, though, is like I'm so hesitant to release anything until it's like so right in so many different ways. And a lot of times that can hold you back. But
that's not a problem I've had ever.
But like when you have it's for that reason, because when you actually see people playing it, it's like suddenly you played this part of you've play tested this one section 1,000,000 times,
right? And
then they play it like once, and suddenly they're doing things. The way I was dying on the claw with I wasn't aware someone could even accomplish that.
Well, then Kyle gets mad at you. He's like, "You're just not doing it the way I would do it. It's wrong. You're wrong."
That was funny though.
That's so funny.
So run me through the process of kind of formulating a level where like how do you come up with the idea, how do you like roughly implement the idea, and then how do you refine it, and then when do you know, I guess, when to stop, when does your perfectionist brain finally let go?
You're the perfectionist.
Yeah, it's not a.
Non-perfectionists can answer as well.
I
Yeah,
just start,
Yeah.
and then when I'm tired of it, I stop.
That's it. That's it. Just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
You know, once the idea is there,
Uh-huh.
and there aren't any like cheat. Like I definitely reworked a lot of stuff in the pinball thing because I was like, oh man, it was too easy to get crushed between music note blocks, and I was like, that's not intended. I don't want you to be able to die. You know, at least make it hard.
So some creators will make these like really hard levels, but they'll put like a cheat, a secret way to beat it for themselves. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I guess if they've tested the real way too, because I mean that's in the spirit of Mario, right? Like original Mario, there are secret like skips, and like that's kind of part of the glory of it.
Pipes,
Even in the story mode, I've noticed a couple of secrets, you know, and it's just I love that kind of stuff. So I mean, if it's like that kind of mentality, that's totally fine. But yeah, if they're like the real level is actually impossible, and they're gonna beat their heads against it until they find this exploit. I mean, you know what? I'm fine with that too. It's just like that's Mario Maker, baby.
It's neat when they include, though, if they do take that strategy, you know, at least include something so that once you're aware of the secret, if you choose to do the harder way, you don't get, you know, maybe a true ending, but something you bonus the experience.
You're great
that's
at that.
fun.
You're great
you know,
at
least that is nice because then the person has some kind of satisfaction. They don't feel like you know.
I remember back in the old Don's Design Lab, there would be levels that you would do where it was like, this way's way harder, but it's worth it because you save Yoshi or whatever. And I love that stuff.
I really like seeing next to a course just who completed it the fastest, because that was in Mario Maker 1 as well.
I think so, but I don't remember.
Just the time?
Just like here's the fastest time.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I really like it because I feel like that it just gives you in a different frame of mind where it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to check out all of these levels. It's like, oh, how did this person do this in 26 seconds?
Right.
And you think about it in a different way, which is really
There was a person who beat my first level in 26 seconds, I think, something like that, which I was just like, whoa. And he sent me a video. I'm not sure if it's a guy or girl or what, but they sent me a video of themselves beating it, and I was just like, wow, here's a person who's just understands Mario, like, you know, more than I do. But they said a funny thing that they and some other person were trading off world records on my level for like an evening.
Yeah.
Like they kept looking and they were like, they beat me, and they would go back in.
Did they like talk to each other online?
I don't know. Okay. I think the game like tells you, I think, if someone beats your record.
You get notifications,
I haven't had I did have a world record on that Celestial speedrun one that takes 20 seconds to beat, but I think everyone who beats it in the same amount of time. So I didn't get credit for the world record, but my time was exactly the same as the world record because I think everybody gets the world record.
If you could limit yourself to one thing that you would want to add to Mario Maker 2, what would it be?
The first thing that pops to mind, I think, would be the cage walls from Super Mario World with the little panels that could flip you around.
Wait, those aren't in it? They're in the 3D one.
Okay, they are in the 3D one?
Because they're in one of the story levels.
Yes,
but I was actually just thinking about that.
I was going to say, I thought I saw them in one of the trailers, but I haven't. Maybe they're there. I haven't found them at all in Super Mario World, though. If they're there, boy, would that be a nice surprise. They may be there.
I really like. I know what you're talking about.
I haven't fully explored the game.
Let us know if you know how to get those.
I think you're right though, because I feel like I played that. Yeah.
Well, they're in the story mode, but the story mode contains several things that you can't do. Like carrying a heavy stone, having a toad follow you. You can't do that apparently in the real levels, in the Maker levels.
Yeah, I could have sworn I saw a shot of the.
Which is intense.
I feel like you may have just given yourself a gift because now you're gonna boot up
That's
Mario
there.
Maker 2.
That would be great.
You're gonna get that. Man, I feel like we could probably talk about Mario Maker 2 the rest of the show.
Forever.
We could probably talk about it forever.
After a while, we would just want to play it so much, we would probably just leave and go play it.
What do you mean? I'm playing it right now?
I guess
I'm playing it in my mind.
I guess last question. What made you stop playing Mario Maker 1?
I never had a Wii U, so I was just playing it on.
That's a pretty good answer.
My roommate has one, so like we got it. He bought it literally just so we could play Mario Maker.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I don't know. It's on the Wii U, man. Like you just can't.
Yeah. I went back to it a couple times, but I had my Wii U. Once I had to move, once there wasn't room for the Wii U anymore, I had it in my drawer, and I took it out a couple times, but then I lost the gamepad charge cable somewhere.
Oh, no.
And since then, I don't think I've played my Wii U at all, actually.
My Wii U gamepad could not hold a charge very well.
Yeah,
I pretty
mine
much had to
either.
have that thing plugged in all the time.
I feel like that was always, we always had to have
Yeah.
the game trailers on plugged in all the time.
Yeah, and so you'd have to like have that plugged in, and then you have to have the Wii U plugged in, and
Yeah.
It's just too many plugins.
it's just stupid plugins. Now you're playing Mario Maker.
I can just play it
Wherever
on
you want.
wherever I want on the
Wherever you
couch.
want.
Not on the couch.
Don, there's another game that I've written a review script for. I've been playing a fair bit of, and I really like it, and I think you really like it too, and that is Samurai Shodown.
Yes.
It's been really fun for me because I haven't played Samurai Shodown really at all, like since I was a kid, just like stumbling upon it in like a pizzeria or an arcade or something, and so I wasn't familiar with it in the way that I'm familiar with other fighting games. And I really like it because it just feels so different than everything else out there. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
It's easy to not realize that at first, you know, but yeah, once you start playing it, it's unmistakable that just I don't know how you'd word it, the timing of what you do, the anticipation, the patience, and it's just not about a flurry of combos and constant aggression.
Right.
It's all about like positioning and timing and
Yeah.
sort of like, I guess, mind games in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Sounds
about
cool.
mind games. Yeah, it is. It's the kind of thing where you just have there are the mechanically and just the way that they do damage, where like the momentum of the match feels like it's constantly shifting.
Yeah.
Where you'll be like, oh man, I'm doing so well, and then they'll get one heavy strike in, and you're like, I'm losing.
You're like, I'm dead? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like, I'm dominating to I'm dead? Like,
Right.
that is
Right.
So wait, I'm completely uninitiated. It used
Sure.
to be an arcade game?
Yeah,
I've never even like heard of it.
Yeah.
big
They've
arcade
had
game.
console releases as well.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so it's a weapon-based fighting game, and so it's 2D, but everybody has a weapon, and because everybody has a weapon, I feel like a lot of the characters have so much range and can just do so much damage. But what makes it so exciting to watch is there are moments like you can just disarm people.
Oh.
So if you know an attack is coming, you can parry it and flip the sword out of their hand. And if you have this meter known as the rage meter full, you can do this weapon flipping technique, basically a super. You can also disarm them, and that it's such a great moment within the match because like it makes the other when it happens to you, you're just like, I need it. I need that weapon or I'm going to lose. And like they're trying to protect it, and so you got to find the right time to get in and pick your weapon back up so you can get back into the fray. And it's just really cool. And I really like the way that it looks,
Yes.
especially in motion. It's very colorful, and I think the characters have very big personalities about them, which I really like. There's a new character, Darlie, who's this shipwright, and she has this like giant saw sword that's really cool. But yeah, John is somebody who has played and enjoyed Samurai Shodown in the past. What do you like, I guess, specifically about this 2019 iteration?
So for me, Samurai Shodown, I discovered in the arcades when I was younger, right? I loved going to the arcades. It's Samurai Shodown has a huge legacy. I mean, it's such a popular game, but it's sort of like that. Would you agree? I guess it's like behind Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, maybe the third biggest arcade fight. No, Tekken would probably beat that. Maybe there's quite a few above it. I don't know. It just seems like Samurai Shodown is it's like a really big, well-known franchise, but it still is like hiding underneath the surface of mainstream awareness.
I think part of it is like where you grew up as well. It'll change a little bit. Like growing up in the Midwest, I feel like what was popular in the arcade was a little skewed. But I would definitely say Street Fighter. I would say Tekken. I would say Mortal Kombat. I would say Soul Calibur as well.
Oh, yeah.
Soul Calibur 2 especially felt like it was very big in the arcades. But yeah.
So what I think they've done a great job with the new one. I mean, paying homage to the original series. I mean, it was all about like really unique, interesting personalities on the characters, really colorful sprites back in the day, big characters that were like unusual to see.
Yeah.
And then the scale of the stages too, it was the first game I remember that would like zoom out as you're fighting to show while you're farther apart to like show the whole scale of everything. You have some of the fighters have animal companions that they can use moves with.
Yo.
When you lose your weapon, you still have, a move set, like a separate move set, which is kind of cool.
Do you have it on Switch?
No,
No.
I got it on PS4.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I was like, I want to play this.
Yeah.
yeah, and the new one feels a lot really similar, and it looks similar in many ways too. It feels like it plays pretty similar, which can be really challenging. I would say, at first especially, I was like, still not quite in, immediately into the groove of it. It's a hard game to just get into the groove of compared to other games where you can sort of just like start playing and you're doing cool moves, mashing a little bit. You know what I mean? This one you can't get away with any mashing.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it seems like.
Yeah, I've something that I talked about in the review that I think is absolutely true is in other fighting games, especially when you're just trying to learn them, it can be difficult figuring out like when to attack. Like, oh man, this guy is doing this kind of this rushdown assault against me. Like, when am I safe to strike back? And you kind of have to feel it out over time. Same with Shodown, it's not really like that. It's like, okay, we're kind of like dancing with each other. They poked at me. Okay, I successfully block it. Like your opportunities, I think, are a little bit more clearly signaled, and things aren't moving. It feels like quite as fast, and so you really have to think about when you're going to attack, because a lot of things that you do, you commit to them so hard that if you don't connect with them or they get blocked, like you'll just get destroyed by one heavy attack.
Are there
for sure.
feints? Can you do feints in it?
Some moves you can feint, where it's like, oh, I think I'm gonna. I do the start of this, but I don't go all the way through. Not everything you can feint, but some things you can.
You can the parrying is big and dodging, like swinging out of the way real quick.
Yep.
A lot of the way they did the graphic style, I really love. It's interesting how they still kept it like traditional 2D in so many interesting ways, even though there are 3D elements to it, I guess. But like the backgrounds, it's like they purposely made it. Seems like they tried to make it feel flat in a lot of ways, and almost like paint. Not necessarily painterly style, but like it feels like a flat image in a lot of ways, which is a really interesting choice, especially like. The forest with the waterfall, and they have that waterfall effect where it just looks like a flat, like there's no depth to it at all, which is just an interesting sort of like tip of their hat to the old ones, because they had that same exact effect on the waterfall.
Cool.
It's
A big thing that I like about it is I feel like whether you've played it a lot or you're just getting into it, it's immediately exciting, both from a spectator perspective and from a player perspective. And I think it really just comes down to the design. Because as you're taking damage, you're building up this meter, this rage meter, and when it's full, you do more damage. And so it's like, okay, well, even if you've been getting destroyed, your rage meter's full, and you can do more damage with it. You have tools, and some moves are enhanced when that rage meter is full. But you can also you can consume that meter and do some of these names are like gloriously goofy. You can do a rage explosion. And...
like my son.
Yeah, you do. If you do a rage explosion, you do even more damage than when the meter is full, and you can do this lightning blade attack, and it's very simple to do. But you just quickly dash across the screen, and how much of your rage explosion is left determines how much damage you'll do. But I mean, you can do like 60-70% damage easily just doing that. But if you go that way and you commit there and you do that rage explosion, your rage meter is gone for the rest of the match.
Right.
You cannot even. So let's say you do it in round 1 and you get the round 1 victory. You don't have any rage going into round 2.
Well, you exploded it.
Right. You exploded it, and your opponent might. And you have these super special moves, which also just do an absurd amount of damage, and they're very, very flashy, and some of them are pretty funny. But you only get one of those per match, whether or not it hits.
Oh.
And you can't just throw those out randomly and expect them to not get blocked. And so those mind games, I like Don was mentioning before, like I say this in the review, when somebody goes into a rage explosion, whether it's you or your opponent, it's like the whole attitude of the match changes. And so you might have had somebody that's playing really aggressively, and then you do that, and they're like, oh no, like if I make one mistake, they're going to hit me with that lightning blade attack and the whole match will end. And so it's so cool and exciting, even if you're just watching it, to see that atmosphere change and to feel that throughout the course of the match.
It reminds me kind of Bushido Blade.
Yeah, people have definitely made that comparison, and I think it is pretty accurate.
I love Bushido Blade.
Yeah.
And just to go off of what you say in terms of the spectacle of watching it, also, they do the presentation is so fun. I mean, Samurai Shodown, all the old ones were known for, they did the classic samurai thing when you get a certain critical hit, it like hit the artery and they do the blood fountain thing. Yeah. But this one has like such cool blood effects, right? Where it splashes the other character like perfectly and splatters perfectly. And oh my God, it's like super gory moves. So all the blood animation, it's like a great, super fun game to watch, I think. Just
Dang, I might have to try this game.
Spectacular.
I like swords.
We're playing it for the group stream.
Well, I'm going to get devastated by you guys.
I will too. No, I'm not any good at it. I just like it.
There are definitely times in fighting games where, like, in the games where you just, like, get juggled until you're dead, that can be really frustrating. It doesn't mean that it's a bad game. It's just sometimes it can instill a feeling of frustration in you, a feeling of hopelessness. And here, I don't know, you always feel like you have a chance, I think, which is cool. Not always. Saying always might be mischaracterizing it a little bit, but sometimes there are a lot of times, where...
Which tournament night was it Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle or something? Where I was playing as that witch, and I found that really cheesy move, and I won the whole tournament because no one could stop me.
I think it was
like the only tournament I've ever won.
I don't think it was Cross Tag Battle. I think it was Blaze Blue.
I think it was Blaze Blue. Those are two different games? Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that was pretty hilarious. I think that's like the only tournament I've won.
Don, I have to say, so I reviewed this game, and it was kind of a difficult review because just the actual fighting, I love it. Yeah. I really do. I love it. And I'm not coming from a place of nostalgia with it. Like, I just really like it. It's on its own. But it just, as a full-price package, it feels a little lacking. Like, everything surrounding the fighting, like, none of it is great. Like, it's all... Some of it is serviceable, some of it is just bad. But, like, the story mode is just a basic arcade mode. Like, it's fine, and you can change the CPU difficulty. But, like, it's something where it's like, okay, well, you know, they show me an intro. They show me an outro when I beat the last boss. I do this a couple times, and then it's just kind of the same old. Like, it doesn't remain exciting for very long. And you can download ghost data from other players, and they're like, oh, there was a feature that they were promoting. And whether I was fighting like a lower ranked ghost or a high ranked ghost, they just didn't behave like people at all. Like, and there wasn't really a huge difference in their skill. Like, they would just like spam jump all the time, or just like spam dodge or something, and it just wasn't very much fun to fight them. And so it's like, well, I don't want to do this. Then I just wasn't getting a whole lot out of it, and I don't think the online system is especially great. The casual lobby system is a little weird. It's a little weird just to figure out like how everything functions within it. But like, you'll do a match and then you'll go back out to the lobby and it will like eject everybody from where they were. Like, it'll just reset the whole thing, which is a little weird. And you can like queue up for matchmaking, which is great. So you can like go into training mode and be like, hey, I want to have fight request on. I want to have ranked matches thrown at me when you find them. And so you go and you do that, and you'll go into the match. And then once that ranked match ends, rather than kicking you back to, say, training mode, it'll put you in the online menu. And so it's like, no, I want to go back to training. And so then you'll get done with the battle. You got to go back out of the menu. You got to go into training and then like queue. It's I don't know. It's all of these things are not like huge on their own. I just didn't find any of them particularly compelling or super well done or above and beyond, I guess, what you see in other games. And that was kind of disappointing because I really love the fighting so much. I also think there's too much loading that lasts for a little bit too long.
True, yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I agree completely. Yeah, I agree that the whole way that all the modes are set up, there's just, it seems like there's almost something odd about the way they do every single one. You know, even like, you're like, well, why isn't, you know, the story mode is the arcade mode, but why isn't it just like a regular arcade mode then? Or why, you know, there's a ton of loading and yeah, just a lot of odd ways that it's organized in terms of how the match, even in endurance mode, is like really odd.
Yeah.
But and also honestly, the movesets like haven't really been expanded that much. You know, there's a couple new characters, few new characters, which is cool. But the movesets for all the returning characters, it's like yeah, they brought the cast back. Everyone looks great. Everyone does what they did before pretty good. But it really doesn't feel like they added much to it in any way.
Sure.
Yeah, and I haven't played enough to like give it a fair judgment. But I'm not like so far, I haven't been like more blown away with it than I was like part 5 special or something even necessarily, which is not a great thing, but you're like, yeah, it's a decent reboot. They didn't mess it up, but it does seem strange that it's like so basic reboot of just they did all the bare minimum things really well, but that definitely bare minimum. It
and
feels
it's $60?
like yeah,
$60. Yeah.
Sounds like if it was 30, it'd be great.
The something that they did do, however, is that if you got the game like right around release, you could kind of get the season pass for free. And so the season pass is $20, but if you jump in and you're an early adopter Samurai Show and they're like, hey, we'll give that to you for free.
Yeah, so I did that.
Yeah.
So I did that because you reminded me of the AI thing. They were pushing it hard before the Ghost, how it's supposed to learn your play style.
Yeah.
They were pushing it hard. They had the one trailer which really like was saying like this is next gen artificial intelligence that'll learn your play style and like then when it was spam dodging, I was like this thing knows exactly how I play. But
it's true.
Yeah.
People are terrible.
No, it's true. It's not that in any way, right? Like it's just a silly tacked on mode, it feels like, and you're like, well, why would you make such a big deal about that? Because that then they misled your expectations. I think.
It just the whole Ghost thing.
They shouldn't have made that like
experience.
It felt
did
like that
not
was
really
one of the,
pay off.
Yeah, it was one of the pillars of what they were selling it on, whereas it really is like an extra mode that's like just quirky.
Something that I do want to say, I've heard that people have had some problems online, just in terms of like quality of matches, and that has not been a huge issue for me. I've definitely had some matches that were spotty, but like overall, across all the games, I would say it's been mostly good, where I'm getting into matches and I'm not even thinking about it. Like I'm not feeling it in a significant way, so that's been nice. But yeah, Don, something that I also like about Samurai Shodown, you talked about the move list not being expanded, and I'm glad you brought up that point. The move lists are pretty lean, and it's not that there isn't complexity to the characters, because there certainly is, or there aren't difficult things to do, because there certainly are, but on a very basic level, it's really easy hopping from character to character.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're somebody that is like indecisive in who they want to play as, or you like playing as a lot of different characters, you can do it pretty easily, which I really, really like. And so I feel like, oh man, like I'm not just, I have to pick this one character. I've been able to bounce around between different people that all feel very different from each other in terms of play style, and that's been really satisfying as well.
Yeah, you're right. You can pick up almost anyone and play like have decent success, where it's not like some games where it's like some characters are really tricky to learn, but at the same time, in this game every character has their own unique way of mastering, where like you see someone that's experienced with the playing, you say, oh, okay, I didn't even realize you could use them like that. But yeah, that's one of the things I really enjoy about it, actually, is you can just casually jump around to characters easily and
absolutely
enjoy to have a little bit of success with almost anyone.
I'm excited. It's going to be at EVO this year, which I'm really excited to see. Yeah,
that should be good.
Yeah,
top level play of that sounds. I mean, I haven't even seen the game at all, but just from your description of
that
it,
would be fun to watch.
I think it is going to be really fun to watch.
That'd
at
be really
EVO,
fun.
100%. Ian Hink.
Hey.
I don't. Maybe addicted might be too strong of a word, but you've been playing some Dota Underlords.
Yeah, I wouldn't say addicted. I would say surprisingly into.
Why is that surprising to you?
Because I don't.
It was surprising to me too.
I tried MOBAs and everything, and they're just not really for me.
Yeah.
Like the item management and stuff. Smite, we kind of got into Smite back in the game trailers days for a little while, but
We definitely had a period of time where Smite was a big one.
Yeah.
And then Here's the Storm for a little while.
Yeah.
But I have kind of gotten to a point, and this isn't really even a commentary on MOBAs at all. But like just the idea of playing a MOBA, I have negative interest.
Yeah.
Like
same.
For Teamfight Tactics, which is like Dota Underlords.
I mean to try it. I haven't. I downloaded the LOL client and it just kept crashing. It just wouldn't load.
Well, I also downloaded the League of Legends client because I wanted to try Teamfight Tactics. You have to have your account.
Is that still true? Because I think it was in beta and now it's out.
Okay, that may be true now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when I tried it, this was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or something like
You had
that.
to have 5 honor.
You had to have 3 honor, and I didn't, and I was like, well, I guess I'll have to wait for that.
I think it's open now,
had
live
2
now.
honor.
Because my friend who works at Chris, you guys know Chris, he used to work in Game Trailer.
Yeah.
Chris and his wife Pam, who are on Mysterious Monsters actually, they're playing a lot of it, and they keep trying to. They're like, oh, we're gonna play. You want to hop in? And I click the League of Legends thing, and then it says League of Legends, and then nothing happens, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can't. But yeah, so I think it's just up now. I think. Because they were really harping on me to play it.
Don, a random question for you: have you ever played a MOBA?
I've played a few. The last one I played was, you'll never guess,
Maelstrom.
Paragon.
Paragon.
I played a little bit of Paragon.
Unreleased, right? It wasn't released, right?
It came out.
Did it?
I don't know. Now I'm doubting if it
I think
ever came out of
beta.
early
I think
access.
beta
or-
came. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah, I
only
don't
came
know
out
what
in
they.
beta.
I guess they probably. It's
I think
Epic, so
it
they probably
did.
called it.
I think it did have
early
a full
access.
release.
Did it? Oh, I
but
thought
then it got
never
like
made
taken
to
down.
I feel like
Yeah.
I remember it just like coming out.
It got a bad
But maybe I'm wrong.
reputation. You didn't have? Did you have fun with it? I enjoyed it actually,
when I
but
pl-
I
you
know
know,
it
to
has
be
a
honest
bad
with you,
reputation.
When I played it,
yeah.
I really didn't like
didn't
it.
like it?
I didn't like it.
What was the main complaint? It was too slow.
I thought it was way too slow. But it's one of those games that I feel like changed pretty significantly throughout the course of the
Yeah,
fight,
it
or at
did.
least
And then it
that's
changed
what
a
I was
lot
told
when they stopped.
But when I checked it out, yeah, I thought it was too slow. I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah. Then they gave away all the assets for free, which is pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
You can like use them.
Yeah.
Done.
But no, I
have
almost
to know.
never play MOBAs. I played a couple in like Smite a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
but I did play a decent amount of Paragon.
Smite was fun.
Yeah.
I think we all bought the because I don't know if they still do it, but Smite had this really cool thing where you just paid like whatever it was, $60,
love
and
that.
you just got everything forever.
Yeah.
All the gods forever.
Sweet.
And so I still have that.
Don, what was it about Paragon that drew you in? I'm just curious.
Well, that was actually, I was working for Epic at the time,
Oh.
like temporarily, right? So I was doing
I
some
didn't
stuff
know
for
that.
the game.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that was
so
right
who knows if that NDA is even still valid? It was like discuss too many details about it.
Sure.
I didn't know you worked for
But it was
Epic.
basically
Yeah.
because of that.
It'll
And then
probably
I
take
kept
Epic's
playing after. They
hit
go, you
squad
know,
an hour and a half to get here, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Who's that?
Yeah.
We've gotten off track a little bit, but tell me about Dota Underlords
Okay.
and auto chess in general.
Here's the deal. I heard about auto chess back in the mod days, the Dota auto chess days.
Yeah.
Like whatever, 6 months ago, a year ago, whenever that was. And I was like, that sounds cool. I mean to try that. And then I just never did. And so then auto chess happened on the phone, and I downloaded it and I played it and I did the little tutorial. The one that's made by, I can't remember the name of the company right now, but the one that's like made the mod and then is making their own called just auto chess. And like clearly it's in early access, you know, like a lot of the VO is still in Chinese and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, the theory of this game is really cool. I really like it. The strategy of picking your guys and stuff. I thought was really cool. And then I was like, I'm going to try Dota Underlords because it's on PC and phone. And I jumped in and just like the presentation of it was just so slick and it's just quick and to the point. And most importantly, you can play against bots.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not here to get wrecked by psychos on ranked because there's only ranked right now. I don't care. I just want to play it like a phone game or like, because I like really bad chess, which is a really funny game where you just get random pieces and have to try your best and like threes and stuff like that. Like I like little strategy games on my phone. But Dota Auto Chess you can play, or Dota Underlords, you can play on your phone. You can even set it to like take as much time as you want, so you don't have to rush. You can set the difficulty of the bots. Like I'm probably like round 32 of a match on my phone right now. I could just like pick it back up and play again. Oh no, wait, I lost the last one I did. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I play it really casually, and I like that, and I don't feel pressured. And the really funny thing is, Dota Underlords, to my knowledge, still has no way of monetizing right now. Like, obviously, they're gonna add
we'll get there.
They're gonna add cosmetics for your character and whatever. The auto chess on the phone, it was like immediately I was like, okay, wow, there's a lot of monetization stuff gonna happen in here. Whereas Dota Underlords, they're just trying to get it like solid before they add that stuff, whatever.
My initial experience with Dota Underlords was I was working on something, some EZA thing, I don't remember what it was, and I was like, I'm gonna take a break and just check this out because I can, and I know it's been very popular, and so I'm curious about it. I had no idea how auto chess worked. I had never played it before. I hadn't really watched it. I just knew of it, and I was like, oh, I'll just play a quick game, and then it was like, it must have been like at least 40 minutes later. I was like, oh, this could be a problem. Yeah.
I definitely want to stream it. I suppose really quick, because a lot of people don't know what auto chess is. Do you know at all what it is?
I only know about it. I haven't tried it.
So basically, the basic premise, very, very broad strokes, is it has nothing to do with chess. First of all, like a lot of people, like I was trying to explain it to Sophia, and she was like, well, yeah, but I don't like chess. And I was like, it's not. It's just called that.
I mean, you can definitely make comparisons to concepts in chess.
Yeah.
You have different values of pieces, essentially.
If you played battle chess back in the early computer days, there's definitely some similarities there. But like, yeah, basically you pick pieces, which are little guys, and you have money. And I was like watching strategy videos, and one of the earliest things that I realized I was doing wrong was I wasn't saving gold up, because you get interest on the 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And yeah, I was like re-rolling every time and like trying to level up really fast and stuff, which is just terrible. You just want to save money. And you pick little guys and you can put them on your board, and then they just fight automatically, which sounds like it wouldn't be fun, but it's like really intense. You're just like watching them and you're like, go guys. But the coolest thing to me is the like synergies that you have to like get synergies between your pieces. So like if you have 2 or 3 savage guys, they get a buff, or two or 3 warlocks, and you get like 15% lifesteal for your whole team.
I love the demon, because it's like, okay, you can have one demon.
You have to be alone,
but there are other units that can completely counter that and negate the bonuses of you having a demon.
Yeah.
And just how it evolves over time, like Ian said with the spending of money, where you're like, okay, well in the early rounds, like this is what I'm getting for units, this is where I want my synergy to be, and then that morphs and changes over time to like how heavily you want to invest on particular synergies or how widespread you want to be. And the number of units that you can have is determined by like your level, which you can also spend money on to speed up. And
because I think normally you only get 1 experience per round or something like that. But if you pay 5 gold in Dota Underlords, it's different. All auto chess games are basically the same, but in Dota Underlords anyway, you pay 5 gold and get 40 XP. And like the first few levels, you don't take very much XP to level up, but then like by level 9, it's like 34 or something,
I really I was worried, I think, about it going into it, where I was like, man, am I going to have to spend a day just like learning this and figuring out how it works? And you super don't. It's like one game and you have the basics. Yeah. And there's so much depth there that I think that keeps it interesting and makes it fun to dig into. But understanding enough to be able to play happens quickly.
And it feels really cool when you get, because some synergies I have found are really poor and some are really good. And like there are a few rounds I've had where I just like got super lucky right out the gate and got like some inventors and some savage guys or whatever it was, and just like went for it. And like, if you get the right synergies, you just like wipe shop with these with these people. And like I've played against human beings a few times, and I did like okay. I got like 4th or something. And you're simultaneously playing against 7 other people, so it's 8 people at total, including yourself. So it's pretty cool. One thing I didn't realize at first that was a little weird is that I assumed that the person that you were fighting was also fighting you exclusively. But like I noticed the other day I was playing and I was fighting somebody, and then my army was also fighting some other person too, which is weird. I don't know. I guess that maybe has to happen given how many people there are left. Whatever. But yeah, auto chess is fun.
Yeah.
I understand the hype. I mean, like, normally I would, like, MOBAs I could tell pretty much immediately. I was like, okay, this is really cool. I understand why people like it. I'm going to bounce off of this. And Dota Underlords, you know, maybe I won't keep playing it forever, but, like, I'm still enjoying it. And because it's on the phone and you can play against bots at your own speed, it's just a really solid phone game for me. And I play it on my computer too, but so that keeps me more in it, I guess.
Are you playing more on the phone or more on PC?
Probably like slightly more on the phone, just because I can do it like here and there if I have a minute, you know. But I've definitely played a bunch of matches on the computer too.
But you've never played Dota, like you didn't play the original Dota?
I played it once and I thought it was ugly.
Oh, are we talking Dota 1
Dota
or
like,
Dota 2?
Dota, whatever the Dota that's Dota right now.
Dota
2, I
Dota
guess,
2.
yeah. I thought, like, I didn't like the graphical style of it. And so, yeah, I played it like once. And then I played a little bit of Heroes of the Storm. Smite is definitely the MOBA I had the most time in.
So visually it didn't appeal to you, because it's like the same visually.
Which is weird, because I like Underlords the way it looks a lot. So maybe I just was in a weird mood when I saw Dota the first time. I don't know. I thought it was like muddy looking. Washed out, sort of weird. I don't know.
Dota 2 and League of Legends, and this is probably not true to some degree, but it feels that way. Like, do you ever have those games where you're like, I'm too far behind now.
Yeah.
Like people are just too insane at it now.
League of Legends,
not gonna climb
for
that
sure.
mountain. Yeah.
Like League of Legends, when it came to the items, like I understood the game, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like I can play as an ADC carry and like, whatever, like do fun stuff. And then like when it came to like item management, I was like, oh damn, this is like a sport. Like this is where the esports comes in, and I like don't have the like 8 requisite months to like become competitive at this.
Yeah.
There's just no reason for me. And like the big difference for me with MOBAs and Underlords, especially when you're just playing against bots real casually, is that, you know, a match in League of Legends can take like 45 minutes, and if you lose, that feels devastating.
Yeah.
Whereas Underlords, you know, it can take 30 or 40 minutes, but, you know, usually I'm not getting last. I did the first time I played against people before I like knew about saving money.
I've just played against bots so far.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I've played against people a couple of times, and like it's pretty thrilling when you do okay, but like again, it has that time commitment thing where if I'm playing bots, you know, I could just like stop for a while and then pick it up later, especially on the phone.
I do feel like, just with the nature of this job, and I think that applies to all of us, maybe even, I guess, especially when you review stuff, but not that we can't continue to play stuff, but I think there's some expectation of covering new things as they come out, and trying to have a diverse set of games that we play every year. But I guess my question to you, panel, is if that was all thrown out the window and you had an infinite amount of time to get good at one game, that doesn't necessarily even have to be competitive, I suppose, what game would you want to try to get good at? Is there one? Doesn't have to be one.
I mean, the first two that came to mind are Bloodborne and Super Mario Maker 2.
Would you want to speedrun Bloodborne?
I think speedrunning Bloodborne would be really fun.
Sure.
I mean, there are obviously like people who are just already really good at that.
Yeah.
Like I think what was his name? Jesus Here's Toast, I think.
Is he the guy with the huge beard?
I think he did a really good run of last Games Done Quick, and I thought he was really funny. And yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, Bloodborne is just great. But I mean, if I were super good at Mario Maker 2, that would be really fun.
From a creation or
creation? Yeah,
okay.
Just like really, some of the stuff people do is just like, you know, like we were saying before, just like wow.
Yeah. Do you have one down?
Of all time, that's a hard question.
I think in general, like Mortal Kombat 11 was the first game that popped into my mind because I love it and I play it all the time, but I'm not great. Fighting game, the genre of fighting games. There's no other genre that I love so much, but I'm like pretty much consistently not great.
Yeah.
Not nearly as great as I'd love to be.
Absolutely.
I would love to be like great at fighting.
Don, you're speaking to my soul. You are speaking to my soul. And I get in a frustrating position sometimes where like and over the years, just because I've been playing them and talking about them and writing about them, like I have gotten better. Like me now compared to me 5 years ago, like there is an improvement, but it's not like anywhere close to a competitive level. Or like even just switching from game to game, you lose a lot for that specific game.
Yep.
And there are some universal things, some concepts that carry over. But yeah, my problem is it's not just like one fighting game that I want to be good at. I want to be good at a lot of them. Yeah. Which sucks, but that's okay.
I guess if we were smart business people, we would have answered like Fortnite or Magic Arena or something where you could like stream and make money.
I just don't feel that way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be good at making Mario levels and playing Bloodborne for my own enjoyment.
Don, I do have some news for you.
What's that?
You did say the forbidden word of this episode.
Uh-oh.
Do you have any idea what you could have said that would have set off the demons? It was something very specific.
Oh, no. I feel like I said a lot of forbidden words.
It was Paragon.
Oh,
That's what triggered it.
Are you kidding me?
No, that was what triggered it.
Oh, no.
Paragon, good. Demons bad.
Yeah.
We have a game for today's Caught in a Frame Trap. I've titled it "Who Am I?" What I'm going to do is because I knew this would be kind of a Mario Maker 2 focused episode. I've made it Nintendo themed.
Ooh.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a description, and you have to tell me from that description what I'm talking about. I'll be you don't have to name me like specific game. If you can get the series, that'll be enough.
Okay.
And so whenever it comes to either one of you first, you say it and I'll mark you down and you'll get a point.
Okay.
But keep that in the back of your mind. Before we get there, this Caught in a Frame Trap is brought to you by some lovely sponsors.
Oh.
Our first sponsor is Greg, TheDarkKnight Kettering. Thank you, Greg. Our next sponsor is Zoteg, who says, do you play Final Fantasy XIV? Are you on the Crystal Data Center? Search at Zoteg, that is at XOTIG, on Twitter for a link to an Easy A Crystal Discord server. I have to say, boy, I'm not playing Final Fantasy XIV right now. I'm occupied with other games, but the way people are talking about Shadowbringers,
This
man,
new expansion looks dope.
people are like flipping out. Like I saw somebody tweet, they were like, I can say with confidence Final Fantasy XIV is one of the best games I ever played. It's like, oh man, we're Shadowbringers hype.
Makes me want to get back into it for a couple of days and then forget to cancel my subscription and pay hundreds of dollars for a game I don't play. Like I've done twice now.
Thank you, Zoteg. Our next sponsor is JoJo's Dent Co.
Hey.
Thank you, JoJo's Dent Co. After that, we have Accounts Payable, which, guys, they're going to give us a free shout out. I'll put this on either one of you. You can shout out anything. It can be a concept. It can be something you've worked on. It could be a person in the world. You can shout out anything. A free shout out.
I like concepts.
I like people.
Oh.
I thought you were going to give a shout out to your imprisoned son.
Oh. Yeah, he had his shot. That's pretty good.
He had his shot.
15 more years. Hang in there, kid.
He'll be okay.
Oh, I'm out of water.
I guess the concept of people.
The concept of people.
People.
Shout out humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to people.
Maybe one of these days we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right this ship.
I don't know. Thank you, Accounts Payable. Our last regular sponsor is Gift of Heaven. Gift of Heaven is a free 3DS RPG which strives to be as funny as Earthbound, efficient as Chrono Trigger, and epic as Final Fantasy VI. Whoa. Gift of Heaven quadruples every data limit of RPG Maker FES, using passwords to unite 4 game files as one bold explosion. OM Hawkstelter is cooking the rip-roaring, full-blast, Tolkien, Potter, Forrest Gump combo meal you deserve to eat, and them Hawkstelters don't skimp on the shrimp. Gift of Heaven's 43-minute promotional short film, Symphonia Anathema, is now available on the official Gift of Heaven YouTube channel. You can download the prologue August 7th via the RPG Maker FES 3DS app. The first dungeon, which was just completed, will kill you several times as you learn, because the 25 different enemy groups demand a larger number of strategies than a traditional JRPG dungeon. The goal is to maximize enemy variety, minimize repetition, and kick your butt. You know what comes after the regular sponsor? It's the mega sponsor! We have a new mega sponsor this month. we have ViewSonic. Thank you so much, ViewSonic. ViewSonic aims to be the preferred global brand of visual solution products. They're dedicated to meeting the needs of their consumers and generating profitable growth. They meet their customers' expectations with superior products, customer service, and industry knowledge. Their gaming monitors are engineered to deliver best-in-class features for all types of gamers. Thank you, ViewSonic, for being the Easy Allies mega sponsor. Who's ready to play a game?
Yes.
Also,
shout out to RPG Maker.
Yeah.
I love RPG Maker MV.
Ian, it was really fun. I think it was like the first year of Easy Allies that happened. I think it was 2016 where you made one we all played it on stream.
Oh, yeah.
That no pressure. Be fun to do again at some point in the future.
Well, I'm supposed to be finishing the remaining Swords Kickstarter reward that I have to do is I have to finish the RPG based on the card game.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have it started. It's like halfway done. I just, life keeps getting in the way, but
as it does. Okay. The first description, and remember, I'll take the series. All right. Number 1, I must protect the Lilat system. Send us off, General Pepper, to defeat the evil scientist.
You're looking for the character or the game?
The series is good. You can say
Star
game.
Fox.
Yes, it's Star Fox. There you go.
Lilat.
Donna's going to blow me out of the sky.
No, I'm happy I got one, actually. Now I'm like, whew.
Yeah, now you're on momentum.
Now I'm cool.
I was like, Ben's just saying nonsense, and Don's like, oh, I got it.
Can I say it? Yeah.
It's like, uh-oh.
All right, number 2. I believe in you, Ian.
All right.
You're going to sweep
What
the
is
rest.
this strange place? I must collect the pieces of my SS Dolphin. These strange little creatures have decided to help me.
I've got a guess.
Go for you guys.
What
shout
is
it
it?
out.
Wait, hold on.
For some reason, I
It's
want to say
slipping my
Sonic,
mind.
but
No, I want to say
SS Dolphin.
They're all
really
Nintendo
familiar.
properties.
Oh yeah, right. They're all Nintendo.
Pikmin.
Yeah.
Okay, That was a guess.
Done 2 in a row, back to back. This one might be a little bit too hard.
Let's try it.
Give it
We're
a
doing
shot.
great so far.
We're on a roll.
It's very short
Don
and
will
sweet.
get it, no problem.
Staying on beat is so divine.
Oh.
Is it? Well, Cadence of Hyrule, but that seems too new.
Wait, no, I know what it is.
That's a good guess. That didn't even pop in my head when I made this.
I'm trying to remember though. I know what it
Staying
is.
on beat is so divine.
It's
The clue is in the sentence.
I mean, divine is definitely divinity. No, that's not Nintendo. Staying on beat.
Staying on beat is so divine.
Oh,
I thought it was
Rhythm
that
Heaven.
Yes!
Oh, okay, I didn't get it.
Rhythm Heaven is it.
Yes.
I was
Rhythm
trying to remember
Heaven is
like
it.
Donkey Kong
Ian is
or
on the
whatever. What's
board.
I'm on the board. I got one.
Oh,
Nicely
man,
done.
I think-
Nicely done.
I think
Nicely
that's
done.
the hardest one too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that. That was good.
All right. We've got 2 more questions.
Aw.
Yeah.
It could be anyone's game.
Uh-oh.
All right. Number 4. Even though I'm small, I have big dreams.
Link's Awakening.
Going through the ranks won't be easy.
Ugh.
One of my opponents is as large as a hippo, and another.
Oh, Punch Out.
Yes!
Yes.
I was like, Link is small and he has dreams.
Little Mac Don gets it.
Nice.
All right, last
These
one.
are catered to Don.
Thank you. Throw me a bone here. Thanks. Appreciate it.
The greedy king stole all the food and sparkling stars from our dreamy land.
Oh, Kirby.
Yes!
Yes.
I do just want to read the
That's
last part of
4
this.
things I'll ever get right.
This one was 2 sentences. So the first sentence was, the greedy king stole all the food and sparkling stars from our dreamy land. The second sentence is, it's time to suck.
Oh, Kirby.
Oh, Kirby, yeah. Done. That was a commanding victory.
I got one.
That was nice.
You got one. You're on the board.
I'm on the board.
Good
That's
game,
all
good
that
game.
matters.
Rhythm
Good
Heaven. I like it. So Don, you've got to break us out of this frame trap. So you have to do something,
dear.
an action, a gesture, a phrase, something that you think will impress the demons enough to get us out of here. Do you have any gestures?
And Paragon is what got us in here?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I got to break us out of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to send a message to someone 10 years from now when they're trolling the bowels of the web and they find this video.
Okay.
maybe that'll break us out. We're gonna have to wait and see.
So you're somebody in the future will
Yes.
have to get us out of here now.
Someone 10 years from now will find this video and see this.
And they'll have to like break time to get us out.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let us know if you did it.
Wait, I've got to send the message.
Yes.
He's got to send the message.
Send the message.
Chucky, I love you. You're the best. You're the best. Okay.
So wait, is Chucky going to be the one? Okay.
That's all I can say.
Okay. That's
It'll
fair.
all make sense in time.
Yeah, maybe.
I would love it if the door just opened right now.
Smoke.
That was the first Caught in a Frame Trap, I feel like, where the action left us in uncertainty.
Good.
There was no
Yes.
definitive breakout.
I love it.
Or a Bill and Ted like garbage can would like fall down.
Smashes me.
There's a button like falling off of this chair.
I've been
It's
wanting to
not
make my chair
comfortable.
taller the entire episode.
Oh, it's hard to find that thing sometimes. Yeah,
What
I
if we make our
definitely
chairs
reach
lower?
around.
Would that make you feel better?
Oh, that's better.
How's that, Don?
Perfect.
I feel like you're like towering above us now. All right. The next thing I want to talk about, Ian, you've played a little bit of it. I actually finished it last weekend. Like, I played it like a fiend. I liked it so much, and that is Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, you have gone on record, video show that Symphony of the Night is one of your favorite games.
Yeah.
Not your favorite. It's like
That's probably my favorite.
Is it your favorite of all time?
Maybe Bloodborne's unseated it, but it's like like a close
It's
race.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
How has Bloodstained, this sort of spiritual successor, been treating you?
Boy, I tell you, I think and I've been like grieving and a little depressed lately. So like I've not had a huge amount of interest. Because one of the symptoms of that sort of thing is like a loss of interest in things you're normally interested in.
Sure.
And Mario Maker is out now too, and I'm just really enjoying it because it's just so happy and easy and chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bloodstained, I got to Zangetsu the first time, like early boss, and it was like kind of hard, and then I was just like, all right. But I mean, I think I will go back to it, but I was really, really enjoying it so far up to that point.
It's an interesting point in that game because it is hard, and it definitely takes like, okay, I have to study him, I have to figure out what he's going to do, but you also like you get so many options as the game goes on. Like you get so many shards to experiment with, so many weapons to experiment with, so many different ways that you can play that game and tackle things, and you don't really have a ton of that in quite the same way that you do later on at that point. And so it definitely is one of the more difficult parts, I'd say.
But I definitely think like once I have some free time where I'm at my house, I'll definitely sit back down and go give it another shot because I really, I love Symphony of the Night, and this has got a lot of the same pedigree. And like, it's so funny. One of the song, like one of the early songs, just gets one of the Symphony of the Night songs stuck in my head. Yeah, it's the same lady, right? Is it the same?
Yeah,
composer?
I believe it. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah,
I thought, which is just funny because it's like, well, wow, they really got the spirit of that if it's making that song get stuck in my head instead of this one. But it just seems like there's a lot of depth to it, and I'm anxious to get into, character customization stuff and all the stuff you unlock kind of later.
Just like putting on different hats and seeing how it changes.
Yeah.
There's a place where you can get your haircut and just pretty dramatically change the way that you looked, which is
I saw
really
that
cool.
when I was cutting the review, and I was like, well, this guy's hilarious.
Yeah. He's pretty cool.
And my friend Erica is the voice of Miriam, so I want to, support her and go through the game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Erica Lindbeck did the voice for that. Yeah. She's so good. She's in, like, everything now. It's amazing.
Yeah, so I pretty much just, like, I feel like I don't remember exactly how long I played Bloodstained for in chunks, but I was just so absorbed into it. And that's what a good Metroidvania does, where you just kind of play it for hours and hours and hours without realizing it, and you feel that need where you're like, oh man, like I just got this, I want to go over there to this section of the map. And I think something that Bloodstained does that I don't think, because I wouldn't say Bloodstained is necessarily relying on nostalgia. It's not just like exactly trying to do what the games, past Castlevania games in the past have done, but it plays with it in kind of interesting ways. Like sometimes it's like, oh, like that happened in Symphony of the Night, like you're just doing that again. But then there are other things that it does, and I don't want to spoil it, but there was one particular moment where I'm like, oh, you included that thing, but you included it in a way different way, and I love that. I love how it plays with the expectations. I love how different all of the areas feel.
Yeah. And they're pretty.
Yeah.
The look of it early on was one of the things I was most worried about, but playing it now, I'm like, oh no, it looks really cool.
Yeah. And there are a ton of breakable walls, which might sound annoying, but I found it kind of satisfying. And like you get into that, you train yourself to be like, well, I got to go and hit every wall. Maybe there's an upgrade in there for me, or some extra room which will have a chest or something. Which is really, really good. And
how often does it require you to use a weapon special ability or a shard special ability to like get to a higher area? Because I was trying to use there was like a mana up or something in an area kind of by that horse guy, carriage guy, and I was like trying over and over to use one of the like upward kick things that the shoes have or something to get up there, and then I just gave up because I was like, okay, maybe it's not what I'm supposed to do. I imagine you get just a straight up double jump eventually, but you do. Does that ever happen to get like secrets though, that you have to use some weird other shard or item?
Yeah, I definitely feel like there were moments where I was like, oh wait, can I get that? And then I would get an ability later where I was like, oh no, like that is clearly how I was supposed to do it. Okay. And that happens regularly, like from pretty much beginning to end, where you'll have different phases of that where it's like, oh, okay. And once you get the ability, it immediately clicks into place, and you're like, ah. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult remembering exactly where that thing was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say in a game like this, a couple of things that are really important.
That still.
What happened?
Sorry, I need to readdress that light still.
Yeah, the lights have a mind of their own sometimes.
I need to change the DMX address.
There it is.
That's why it happens. It's too close to the other one for whatever reason, and that fixes it if I move it into the hundreds.
I feel like the size of what you're exploring in Bloodstained is just right, where it like you can definitely get lost in it, and you definitely have that constant feeling of discovering something, but it's not so sprawling that it kind of becomes a pain in the butt to travel, and it's very easy to get waystones and teleport around the castle. Like the places where you can teleport, for the most part, make a lot of sense, which I really like.
I like that there's that little town. Like that kind of adds another element that none of the Castlevanias I played really had, where it's like there's a hub, kind of like you return back to the... Yeah, it's cool. The fact that one of the initial things that shocked me back when we played a demo at whatever event that was, not E3, after that, whatever. Maybe it was E3.
I'm pretty sure it was E3.
I think it was the last E3, not this one, but the one before, where I was like, oh, like dialogue and quests and like interaction with NPCs, like more than just, hey Maria, see ya Maria. That was really interesting. I didn't expect that really to be as big as it was. Yeah,
so they have this quest system in there as well, and there's quests where it's just, okay, slay X number of this specific demon. And then they have cooking quests where this old lady gets hungry and she wants you to bring you a specific thing. And so then you got to go and you got to find the ingredients, and then you got to make things, and then you can dismantle stuff to get ingredients. And it's a whole crafting system. And there's another person that wants you to bring them items as mementos. And when I initially saw this, I was like, oh man, like this is going to get so tedious.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some tedium to it. But
especially because the lady who wants you to like kill 6 whatevers,
right?
Like the setup for every single one of those quests is like, make those bastards pay.
Yes, I actually kind of like
same
that
exact voice line every time.
It kind of had like a Dragon's Dogma effect on me, where it was like the repetition became endearing.
Have your pick, and you like.
Yeah. But what I will, so I was like, man, like these types of quests are going to get really boring. I actually think for the most part they're really well designed, because you have this nice balance of, if you're the type of player that's exploring pretty thoroughly and killing things pretty thoroughly, you'll have plenty of moments where it's like, oh, I already have that, and I'll just give it to the person, or oh, I already killed that, so I'll just get the reward. And then you'll also have times where you have to go out of your way a little bit, especially with the food quests. And so it ends up being very addicting, because even like for the food quests, as it would go along, it would alternate between like me going and needing to like kill something to try to get the drop for the ingredients, or like sometimes it'd just be like, oh no, I immediately have that, and kind of that push and pull of accessibility and effort. I think what made it so I got really addicted to the quests and wanted to do a lot of them, which I thought was fun.
For the food ingredients, does it tell you in game like if a monster drops it, or do you just have to figure it out?
Yeah, it will tell you. So there's like
okay.
this bestiary you can look at, and it'll be like, oh, this person drops this. But it's also very easy to look up online if you want. Yeah, another point of praise that I have for Bloodstained. There are a lot of bosses in Bloodstained, and they get pretty creative with some of them. One of them makes the frame rate come barreling down. I was playing on Xbox. I don't know if that's the same case on PC, but on Xbox, there's a later boss that definitely made the frame rate buckle quite a bit. But
that's on purpose.
Yeah, there were bosses that they varied in how they presented themselves and how the fight feels. Like there are definitely big scale, larger than life bosses. There's one where you're kind of like running down a spiraling tower that's really, really cool.
Oh, neat.
And so they all feel pretty different. And all of the areas have pretty sharply different themes as well. And so there's really a good amount of variety in a lot of different senses. There's a lot of variety in how you can approach the game. There's a lot of variety in the areas that you're exploring. There's a lot of areas in the things that you're fighting. And it just really feels like a super well-made game. And then you think about it and you're like, well, of course, like this is coming from people who really understand this genre, and you can super get that sense as you're playing Bloodstained.
Yeah. I can't wait to jump back into it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really cool.
I feel like, because Hollow Knight kind of can feel this way too, where like you definitely have those walls, but then once you overcome it, you get into that rhythm and you plow through it. Don, how much do you love your Metroidvanias?
Oh, I love them.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love it.
Do you have a favorite one?
I've been on the fence with this game, actually. I haven't gotten it yet. Okay. And I guess I wasn't certain how great it would be or whatever. I mean, the discussion right now makes me sound like I would like it a lot.
Yeah, the Switch version, which I have not played, but just hearing from other people, has a lot of problems. I would not.
Really?
They're working on them, but I would not recommend the Switch version. I would get the PS4 or Xbox or PC version if you can.
That's a bummer because like, whereas my PlayStation used to be my number one console, the Switch has very, very handily supplanted it. Like, if something's on Switch, I'll usually get it. I got this on PS4 just because I was a Kickstarter backer like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like so it actually came out a little bit later on the Switch, and I feel like that helped some people because I think there were a lot of people that did buy on the Switch that were angry that it is performing so poorly. But for me, I got it on Xbox. That was like the first platform I could get it on, and I had a great experience. But if it was on Switch, I may not have like seen that stuff online. May have gotten the Switch version and then been disappointed,
which is a bummer.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name. The most recent ones, obviously, recent one was Yoku's Island Express. That one I think was a great.
I
have to finish it. That game is so good.
Metroidvania style
I love
game.
It.
Yeah, amazing in every way. But there's another one too that I have. I actually have it on the Switch and the Xbox. I think somehow I ended up, but the name is slipping my mind right now.
Describe it.
You're like a soldier, and you can shoot, but you only shoot at like 15 degree or angles,
Axiom
right?
Verge?
No. And you're like
Neo Drifter.
No, dang it! I can't believe it's slipping my mind right now.
How new is it?
It was like last year.
You're a soldier.
Dang it! Oh God, I'm trying to remember.
No, I wish I could help you.
Oh, and
what letters does it start with?
I don't know. My Switch is in the other room. I'd have to go grab it and look. It's like I thought it was also with something with blood, but I can't remember the bloody name. Dang it!
Is it the Mummy Demastered?
Yes, thank you. That's what it was. I was trying. I don't know how.
Heard that's good.
Wow, I don't know how you pulled that out of my lack of description.
Well, I know you play as a soldier, and I know it's on Switch.
That was incredible.
Okay,
thank you. That's what it was.
Nice.
Mummy Demastered. I really enjoyed that one, but brutal difficulty in terms of like the way. What was it? I'm trying to remember.
I didn't play that much of it, but it was very difficult.
So difficult is that something about the way the save system works is crazy because you often find yourself stuck. Oh, because they take away they take away a lot of your stuff in that sense. So you often find yourself stuck at a place with now all your weapons, and it's like extremely hard to get back. That one's Metroidvania, I guess, but it's also a little bit of like roguelike, sort of.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've played it. But yeah. You're right. Where I think if you die, you lose all your stuff.
From what I remember, you lose it, but you can recover it.
When you said that, I was like, oh, that sounds very familiar.
But I'm trying to remember, there's something about the way they twist it that makes it exceptionally hard, where I just remember I kept getting further. When I got really far in the game, I kept getting stuck in a frustrating kind of way. But I loved that game. I thought they did a great job. It was really fun.
Don, have you ever played Hollow Knight?
Just a little. I've not played the whole thing.
What did you think of that taste?
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. I just have not. I don't own it still, believe it or not.
It's good. I'm like weirdly bad at it.
It's hard.
Yeah, it was really hard.
Game.
I found it hard. Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure. But I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just not very good at video games. Maybe.
No,
like Mario levels are tough sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just because I'm rushing sometimes. I don't know.
It can be a hard thing to gauge sometimes because I'll definitely have moments where I was like, oh, wow, like that was really easy for me. And people are saying that it's hard. And then I'll have other moments where I was like, man, like, why am I not getting through this?
Yeah.
It can be hard to gauge, I think, especially now with the internet. And like you can watch people who are just like so incredibly like 0.0001% of players. And you're like, well,
like immediately
have I ever held a controller?
Yeah.
It's that kind of sensation. So
I mean, like I beat Sekiro, but like I remember you guys like there are certain bosses that I was just like beating my head against that like you guys or Chris or whoever just like killed on their first try, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah. I mean, Hubert has talked about it with various Souls games, and it's totally true. Like even just talking about it with Brad, there would be things that I struggled with that he didn't struggle with, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so it's just different things hit people differently, which is fine. But yeah, Bloodstained, really, really good. I definitely had some skepticism, and I don't think I'm quite as into it visually as other people are. Like I didn't mind the way that it looked, but
I don't hate it, which was a surprise.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate it. I certainly don't feel that way.
Like it doesn't look as good as Symphony of the Night, obviously, because that game is perfect in every way.
I thought the look was very serviceable for it, and I liked the customization that you could have with your character quite a bit. But I wasn't blown away visually by it. But I knew I was going to like that game. I'm surprised at how much I liked it and just how compelling I think the package was overall. I really, really had a good time with it. I couldn't pull myself away from it when I was trying to get to the end. So that was really good. The last couple of things that I want to talk about before we move on to the back half of the show. We talked about this last time too, but I want to talk about Crash Team Racing. Don, I feel like you're somebody that would like Crash Team Racing. Did you play it back in the day?
I did play it a long time ago, it feels like.
Yeah.
And let's see. Oh, I think I played it a little bit again back at Game Trailers now. It just popped into my mind when Damiani was working on, there was a Pop Fiction episode.
Oh, okay.
Where he covered Crash Team Racing. So I did go back and play it a tiny bit then, but that already was a few years ago too. So the new one, I really haven't played yet. I haven't.
So it's funny because I played Crash Team Racing back in the day on the PS1 a very, very little bit, but I guess I must not have played it that much because Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled like feels pretty new to me. And my experience with kart racers, it's not a genre that I'm super heavily invested in, but I really enjoy Mario Kart. And then other kart racers that I've tried, I like them, but there hasn't been any that I've liked as much as Mario Kart.
Yep.
Man, this could definitely just be a honeymoon phase, and so I'm hesitant to say this, but like Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled is like up there, if not
really?
even like better in a lot of ways.
Better?
Wow.
Well, okay. So here's what I mean. I think Mario Kart sometimes doesn't get enough credit for how much skill can impact how you do, but the game itself, in a lot of ways, outside of like maybe 200cc, doesn't really apply that super effectively. Outside of online, doesn't really apply that super effectively. But adventure mode in like Crash Team Racing, at least for myself, is very difficult in a way that is super satisfying, where the courses are extremely dangerous. There's so much you have to avoid. There are really tight turns. And you have the mechanics take so much skill, not just to pull off on their own, but to pull off as you're dealing with all these other things. And so do you know the way that it works, the boosting?
I heard the brief description of the drifting and everything, which sounds a lot more difficult than Mario Kart for sure. It's not like automatic, basically.
So you hit a button like Mario Kart, but unlike Mario Kart where it just kind of like does it as you're going along, you have to be in control of it, where you hit one button, you have to know when to hit the opposite button to get the boost, and there are different degrees of boost that you can get. You can chain them together, and it really just takes a lot of skill to do effectively. But on medium difficulty in Crash Team Racing Adventure mode, like you are beating, or I'm beating AI in like fractions of a second, it feels like, and it's just like neck and neck until the final lap, and you finally pull ahead. And so when you do get those items like those missiles where you manage to hit them just before you cross the finish line and allows you to pass them, like you feel so good. And there are boss fights as well, and those are really challenging because like Leroux will be like dropping TNT behind you constantly. Papu will be dropping these potions behind him constantly, and so it's like not only are these tracks just difficult to navigate on their own, but he has like kind of this unlimited supply of stuff that he's throwing at you, and so it's really satisfying to overcome. And I don't know, I'm not used to a kart racer feeling this rewarding, or that I have to focus this much, and it's kind of giving me this new outlook on this genre, and it's a way that I really appreciate, and just like it's so much fun. And I think the course design in Crash Team Racing is really excellent as well, where like there are courses that have really tight turns that kind of happen constantly, and so it's not just like, oh, I have to pay attention to one tight turn. I have a series of tight turns that I have to pay attention to, which is really, really cool. But I like it a lot more than I thought I would. And there's also like kind of this battle pass-esque thing that they've added to the game now, where for playing and for completing challenges, you'll earn points, which you can like use to get new things. And there are different tiers of it. There's bronze and silver and gold. And that's actually pretty satisfying as well. And it was like, oh, I wasn't thinking about playing online, but I guess I'll give a match a go just because it will earn me this thing and get me farther along on this bar. And so I actually kind of like that too. But yeah, just really impressed with the game. Didn't have this like incredible affinity for Crash Team Racing before that, but despite like playing it a little bit back in the day.
Yeah, I never saw that coming from this game, because my memories, the old one was like, it was fun, but it was like, it seemed like PlayStation had a lot of games that were like, they had quite a few kart racing games that were like sort of a little bit generic in terms of what they had to offer, but they were fun and definitely never like approached the quality of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
But I guess I sort of expected that from this, and so far I've heard nothing. But glowing reviews, and just looking at it, you definitely see that. You can appreciate what's gone into the track design, and the redesign of the graphics are beautiful.
Right.
Yeah,
Gosh, the tracks are pretty, and they look fun to play.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, honestly, to hear of the skill that it requires, because I thought it was just going to be sort of like a generic, sort of like basic kart racer.
That's not to say that you don't have like any frustration. There are definitely times where like it just so happens that they hit you with this thing that sends you tumbling off the course, and there are just moments where you feel like, well, that's unfortunate, or that's unlucky, or that wasn't really much I could have done there. But that just comes with the kart racing territory. I feel like there's some of that you kind of have to accept.
I'm trying to think. The only other kart racer I really liked ever besides a Mario Kart was Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. The levels in that just really shine for me.
Gotcha.
Like the racing was whatever, but the levels are super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. Crash Team Racing.
I think
easy living. We've got
I played
some of
the I did. I played some of the first Sonic Racing and All Stars Transformed. It's been forever. I don't think I played a ton of them, but
All Stars
Transformed is one that like people
the good one. Yeah, that's
super praised.
really
But I
good.
remember liking my experience with it as well. But that kind of put me in a Crash mood, and I've kind of just been in a platformer mood in general. And so I accidentally just played all the Crash games in the Sane Trilogy.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't even like really mean to, but I had started Crash 1 when the Insane Trilogy came out, and like, holy shit, that game is really hard.
So hard.
Like, it's like way harder than you think it's going to be.
But didn't the remaster have like his feet are rounded, but the hitboxes are square?
They
some
definitely
weird thing?
changed how it felt.
Oh,
yeah.
is that true?
There's some weird
okay.
thing with his feet.
I'm
Like,
glad
the
to hear
the
that because
hitboxes
I
are
was
like
I didn't
wrong.
realize that. I guess I didn't
Or
read up
something.
on it, but that's how it felt when I was playing it for sure. I was like,
Yeah.
I did not remember this having such
Right.
difficulty when like,
'Cause, like, I think
intricate platforming
they
sections.
kept the old hitboxes, but now they rounded out the graphics so you think your feet start sooner or something.
Oh.
Something like that.
And I
Maybe
didn't
have it
start
backwards.
Crash 1 at the beginning. I started at the first bridge level, and like, holy shit, those bridge levels, man. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
I mean, I played original Crash back in the day,
Yeah.
but I don't remember.
But all it is it's just like it's just this broken bridge, and so you just have like wood panels, and there are
right,
like
yep.
enemies on it, and like you have to do very specific tight jumps. But it was really great. So I started at the first bridge level. That's where my save was, and then just played the rest of it. But it kind of turned from frustration and rage into a lot of appreciation. I think Crash 1 in particular gets a lot of flack for being very, very difficult, but I find it difficult but very, very fair. And it's the jumping and just kind of the weight of Crash and how he moves is something you have to get used to. It's very distinct, but it always feels like a very, very fair game. Like you have the shadow to really guide you along.
Yeah.
And if you're kind of paying attention, and it's a game that demands patience, which I really, really like. I feel like in a lot of more modern Mario games, 2D ones, you kind of can just turn your brain off and go. And it's like, well, I've played so much Mario that I can kind of get through this with little effort. And you can kind of just play it very, very quickly and very fast, and it's fine. With Crash, you can't do that. Like there are just times where it's like, no, just stop, think, look at the situation, look at the obstacles in front of you, and get through it. And it was interesting playing Crash 1 to Crash 2 to Crash 3. I had played them all as a kid. I hadn't seen the end of any of them before. I saw the end of all of them here, and they get progressively easier. Like Crash 3 is much, much, much easier than Crash 1, and even easier than Crash 2. I think Crash 2 is the best. It introduces some new mechanics and just ways of playing. And it's just like a perfect sweet spot for difficulty where you'll struggle just enough, but not so much that I don't think there's anything that'll give anybody like too much trouble in Crash 2. But I love these collections. It's been happening. You have like the Rare Replay collection, you have the Spyro collection, and the Crash collection, where you can just kind of see the evolution of a series.
Was
Was
there?
there-
I thought I felt one earlier.
I
Is it
felt
right
like
now?
2 earthquakes.
Oh,
Something
yeah,
right now.
for sure. Earthquake right
I
now.
felt 2 earthquakes in the last
the
week.
TVs are moving.
Really?
Little one.
They said we were due for more.
Little one.
Great.
It's still going.
Are we going to get swallowed
We're
by
still
the earth?
going right now.
Little one. Oh,
Oh
there it
no,
is.
this is a pretty good one.
I'm not feeling it at
Oh,
all.
yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
it's
there it
it's
is.
moving
Yeah,
a lot.
you can. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is big.
You're experiencing
You're
a
seeing an
live
earthquake live on
Look at this.
camera.
Well,
Wow,
it's not live now, but
this is long.
it's still
too.
going.
This is
It's
kind of
incredible.
scary.
There's nothing over our heads except there's a camera directly above Ian's
Yeah,
head. We should be
I'll be
careful if
okay.
it gets hard. Strong.
This is a long one. This
it's
is a
really
big
long.
one.
It's a very long,
This is bigger than the other one, I think.
and it's long,
I hope-
swaying movements.
Yeah, we're all right.
We're gonna be okay. We're far
Easing
enough
out of
away
it,
from it.
hopefully.
Well,
Still moving.
It's still going. Jeez.
Do I need to like timestamp
Wow,
earthquake?
it's still going. Timestamp earthquake.
Timestamp earthquake.
Now I'm like, I
Okay.
can't tell if I'm dizzy or if it's the earthquake.
I'm definitely dizzy.
I'm almost through my power bar. running out of calories. That's what I thought it was. I
It's
was like,
still
oh man, I'm
going.
about to black
Yeah.
out.
I think we're done now.
All right.
Are
We
you
made
sure?
it. We survived.
I don't see any movement on anything. That's what I would do, even if I feel
We
dizzy.
survived. Living is good.
No, I
You
think
look
it's still
around.
going.
Is
It's still going.
Maybe aftershocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like right now I feel like.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good lord, that's a long one. I wonder what the magnitude on that one is. We'll have to look.
Hopefully everyone's okay.
Yeah, there weren't. Last I heard, there weren't fatalities from the one on Thursday, or
It's crazy.
Thursday? Yeah, yesterday.
But yeah, it's cool playing all those games back to back, and I like this trend that we're getting, where we're getting collections of
Oh,
things you
man.
can see the history
Yeah.
of the series.
We're in a
That was all I wanted to
wonderful
say.
golden age, right? Like a new gold, or
Yeah.
appreciating the golden age. I don't know what you'd call it, but the collections that are coming out are so
Yeah.
spectacular. They're actually including some of the historical like documentation that went along with
Yes,
them at the time.
totally.
Often the galleries are often coming out a lot better now, and I am loving these collections. I went back. I've got to go. I did the same thing as you. I got the Insane Trilogy, and I was like, I did not remember this being so difficult, but it still felt really good, and it was fun like Crashes. But you're true. You have to be really methodical in how you get through it. But it's the type of game that naturally urges you to want to just keep going and go fast, you know, but you really have to be patient. But I think it's about time I go back, because I was frustrated with it, though, because I often was like, I didn't remember running into this much difficulty with it.
And then you're obviously running toward the camera and away from the camera a lot, and that definitely takes a while to get used to, because on levels where you're running toward the camera, like from a boulder or something,
yes,
you'll see what you need to jump through to, and your brain kind of gets into this mentality where it's like, okay, I can't see what I'm going to jump to until it pops up, and so the second you see it, you want to jump, and that will often lead you to jumping way too soon, and so you have to see it and then be like, wait, am I at the edge of where I need to launch off from? Get to that point, then jump, and then you'll be far enough to actually make it to the platform. So you do have to kind of train yourself a little bit to get through it.
The Neo Geo has had a couple. They had their early collection come out, a bunch of the 80s games, which I'd never gotten to try. And obviously those Konami collections have been pretty cool.
It's so awesome. There's so much from so many different platforms and so many different genres now that are like very widely available on modern platforms, which is fantastic. So
I'm loving it.
Yeah, I love it a lot. Not as much as I love this HOTTAKE! So, Don, this is the first time that you've been on Frame Trap.
And I caused an earthquake.
And you caused an earthquake.
If you'd finished your power bar faster.
I tried to warn you.
I hope that didn't... I'm just being paranoid, but I hope that didn't mess up the recording or anything.
I don't think so. I can go look if you want me to.
Yeah, you will need to pay attention to this.
Okay, here. I'll keep listening.
Okay.
I'll check.
All right, so Don, this is your first time on Frame Trap. It's a very special occasion. I wanted to commemorate the occasion. I talked with the powers that be.
Okay.
And this HOTTAKE is going to involve some Don Bucks.
Oh.
And you and Ian are going to have to work as a team.
I like it.
You guys collectively have 100 Don Bucks.
Okay.
Can you keep that in your mind?
Yes.
All right. I have a little story to tell you. Imagine Nintendo had a crisis, and the crisis was that Waluigi snuck into Nintendo in the middle of the night and just wreaked havoc, and has stolen a bunch of money, destroyed a lot of just valuable things, and has just generally wreaked havoc. Waluigi is the cause for this. Nintendo somehow, through maybe illicit channels, illegal channels, found out about the power of the Don Bucks. And they have turned to you, and they said, we need your help. We need you to save Nintendo.
Yeah.
And so what I've done is I've made a list, and I sent this to you guys on Slack if you want to reference it. I sent you a large list of a bunch of Nintendo Switch exclusive games that are coming out in the future. And you have to use the power of the Don Bucks to save them.
Okay.
However, there are some rules. You only have $100, and you must spend at least $20 to try to save a game. However, if you only spend $20 on a game, there's a 50-50 chance that it won't be enough money to actually make it. Okay. So if you only spend if you spend $40, you're good. That game will be saved. That game will come out eventually.
Oh,
and
cool.
we're on $20 increments only?
You're on $20 increments only.
Okay, so we can only save
40 guarantees? Wait.
40 guarantees.
No, so we can only save 2 of them for sure.
Well, for sure.
For sure, yeah. So it's up to you. You can just spend $100 on one if you want. It's up to you to decide how to divide the money, but you have to spend in $20 increments. And you have to spend at least $20, and if you only spend $20, there's a 50-50 chance that it won't work. So these are the Nintendo Switch exclusive games that are coming down the line.
I'm excited.
That I wrote down. We have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. We have Animal Crossing New Horizons, Metroid Prime 4, Astral Chain, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Luigi's Mansion 3, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remake, Bayonetta 3, No More Heroes 3, the Panzer Dragoon Remake, Dragon Quest XI-S.
One other question.
Yeah.
How do we know the 50-50? That's just pure luck.
I have
Oh.
a D10 right here that I will roll.
Got ahead of myself.
And I will let you know
this is great.
after the money has
This
been
is so
allocated.
exciting.
What is it? Evens and
We're
odds?
in
or
charge
what
of
is it?
Nintendo.
So
Ian.
if it's a 1 through a 5, it will not get funded. If it's a 6 through a 10, it will get funded.
Wow.
Is
I
that
thought he was going to
even?
go odd or even.
Is that equal chances?
I don't know.
How do numbers work?
Actually,
6, 7,
I don't
8,
think it is
9,
equal
10.
chances. Because
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
you do
No,
get
it's
certain.
equal.
But
It's
I know technically it's equal, but I've got that horse racing game where, look, they put each horse on a different number, and some of them have longer tracks because it's proven that somehow certain numbers are rolled more frequently, I believe.
That cannot be true on a die
I believe
with
it's
equal
true.
weighting.
I know it seems
So-
irrational,
so-
but it's true.
I have also downloaded a coin flipping app on my phone.
We'll do both.
If the cancel, we will instead go to a coin flipping thing, which I don't think we can argue will be equal.
All right.
It'll
Who
definitely be
knows
equal.
who programmed this
Yeah.
app?
That's true.
They could be disreputable.
true.
I think
That's
people
true.
get 7s more than 1s. I don't know.
That's true. I
think
did
that's
not.
bananas.
I did not
What if it was
verify.
evens and odds on the die?
Okay, so if it's heads, the
What's
game
gonna
will be
be?
saved. If it's tails, it will not be.
All right.
All right. Are you happy with that?
I like both. Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
Okay.
I'm thrilled. I'm excited.
We'll do the coin flipping one officially, and
We
then
should
maybe
alternate.
yeah.
You should alternate. You want to alternate?
Yeah.
Oh, it would be great if we had a third method that could choose which method we're going to choose.
Yeah.
I'm trying my
A
best
third
here.
binary method.
You can flip this coaster.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Wait, both sides say easy A.
Well, one's backwards.
Oh, okay. Ian, this is exciting. We are in charge of Nintendo, and we've got a lot of guaranteed winners here. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, and I
Well, for me,
I
this
can
is the-
answer questions,
This
and
is
I
the
can talk to
easiest
you if
thing
you
in
want.
the world for me.
But I don't
Yeah.
get to make any of these decisions. You get to
Yeah.
decide
I
where the
think-
money goes.
I think this is really we're thinking the same thing. So on
we gotta-
3, why don't we say the same name? Because since we're both thinking the same exact
Okay.
game.
I have an idea of what it probably is.
Ready? You can
Okay.
count us down, Ben. So we're
All right.
at 3, 2, 1. Then we say it.
On go.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
That we're
Three.
saving.
Wait. You're saying 3, 2, 1. Then we say it, right?
3, 2, 1. It's like rock paper scissors. It's 3, 2, 1. Shoot.
3, 2, 1. Game.
Yeah.
Got
So 3, 2, 1.
Breath of the
Panzer's
Wild.
Dragoon.
You knew I wasn't thinking.
What do you mean? What else would you choose?
Breath of the Wild 2. You knew I wasn't thinking Panzer Dragoon.
I'm just kidding, but we got to get that one on the list. We got to give that one at least 20. Yeah,
We can throw in a 20.
Breath of the Wild 2, certainly,
Breath
right?
of the Wild 2 for me is the only needs a 40.
So this is the weird thing to me, though. 40, you say, hey, we should give it 20 because it's a guaranteed winner.
What?
Ri-
No. If you
I
give
know that
it,
you believe
if
in the heart of the cards, John.
if you only
It's a
give it
40.
$20, there's a 50-50
He
chance.
knows how it
But I
works.
think, but
He's
I
just
feel
saying that it's a good enough
Yeah,
game that it
exactly.
would carry it
Right, so
through.
you're saying
It
no
would
matter
bring
if you-
through
if
even
you
on
only
a,
give Breath of the
even
Wild
on a
2
shoestring
$20,
budget.
It's gonna win no
even
matter
on a
what.
shoestring budget, it's gonna
Sure.
succeed.
Don, we can't take that
And
chance.
and then we save our money for the bigger fish,
Bigger?
like Panzer Dragoon.
Pull it for Panzer Dragoon, Don. Yes,
I'm excited about it.
Nice.
I would push for 40 on Breath of the Wild 2.
Okay. Let's do it.
And then we could do
But
20
how-
on
Is that
Panzer
your
Dragoon.
first?
How will we know when we save Nintendo, though?
Well, you only have $100.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're saving really as much as you can.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with Nintendo.
Oh, you don't wanna
$100.
save
Now keep in
five.
mind, the rest of these games that
You
you
wanna
don't
save
fund are
5?
lost
Oh,
forever.
you
They're
wanna
gone
save
forever.
5?
They will not
Huh?
exist.
Wait, but we can set.
I want to for sure save Breath of the Wild 2.
Can we
If you
spend
save
less than
5,
20?
No, you have to spend at least 20.
Oh.
And if you save 5 games, that means everything is a 50-50 chance.
Right. So my thing is it better to? I think the guarantee of one tentpole is worth spending 40 on one because the 50-50 shot on the others. There's a chance we
Think
wouldn't
of it
get
this
any
way.
game.
I have a good way of thinking about this. We're on a cruise ship called the Nintendo, the SS Nintendo, and it's sinking.
I'm with you so far.
It's sinking fast.
Yeah.
Here we have this list of people we can bring into the ship with us. But if we bring 5,
Wait, so they die with us?
no, bring into the life ship.
Oh, the lifeboat.
We can possibly squeeze up to 5 into this little ship, but then each one is only going to have 50-50 chance of living, or
It could scuttle
we
the whole
bring
ship.
2 close friends and one other take a chance on. What isn't it worth?
And then
isn't
we
it
shoot
worth,
everyone else who's trying to get on the
right
boat.
between the eyes?
Yeah.
Isn't it worth trying to save 5
No.
instead of, and risking losing them all than it is guaranteeing saving 2?
I'm really on Don's side here.
What
I
a
just
moral
want to
quandary.
say.
I don't know about this. Well,
Listen,
but
then
here's
it's
the
just
thing.
a roll of the dice, roll of the dice, roll
But
of the
here's
dice.
the thing. Here's the thing.
The
though.
gambling spirit is coming through so hard.
But here's the thing. To flip your analogy right on its head,
Okay.
there's a chance that if we take 5 people onto the boat, the whole boat gets weighed down because no one is saved. 50-50 shot each. We all drown.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
if we save 2 for sure, we know we get out alive.
But imagine how good it's gonna feel if you take that chance and all 5 are you did.
Here's
you
my
did the-
thing.
Or just think we're all just waters above our eyeballs,
Yeah.
and we're like, we're here together, friends.
we all die. Here's my thing. We save Breath of the Wild for sure.
Okay.
And then what would it be? 3 others?
Man, and it really makes it tough if one of them
Yeah,
is
this is
Panzer
the
Dragoon.
easiest thing in the world
There's
for me.
some pretty incredible games.
This is
on
the
that list.
easiest.
Do you want to
for-
hear how I would do it?
No, we got to do it as a team.
Okay.
Shut down.
I mean, for me, Metroid Prime 4.
Okay, I'll give you. We can do Legend of Zelda 40 if you
Okay.
want. If you want.
Are we
Since we're-
locking
since
that
we're-
in? Because I'm gonna
If
write
you're
it
okay
down.
with it.
Since we're a team, yes.
If you're
but then
okay
can
with
we
it.
choose
Panzer Dragoon
how
can
many?
get
Wait,
20.
so then we get 3 after that. 320s.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Yeah, 320s.
320s.
I'm
one
agreeing
Zelda.
with you on the 320s
Okay,
now
let's
because
do
I
it.
don't care about any of these
All
other
right,
games.
compromise. We do it.
Okay, so
Panzer?
you've given Breath of the Wild $40.
I would love. Metroid Prime 4 has been troubled. Who knows? They had restarted it.
That is true. It's
Like,
like,
I
hey,
want-
look, other M was other M, right?
Oh,
it doesn't mean
God.
Metroid's guaranteed
Was it ever?
winner.
But it's Metroid Prime 4.
But
Yeah.
it's not. There's no guarantees.
It's the one I want to be good the most, probably on this list.
And it must be good. I'm sure it will be. How can
I-
it can't?
I hope so.
How can it not?
So I mean, I would give Metroid Prime 4 $20.
Yeah, right. You got to take a risk
You
on
gotta
it
take-
for
you
sure.
gotta- That
means you
for
only
sure,
have
for sure.
two
Yeah,
other games.
100%.
Well,
Jeez.
Don wants that Panzer Dragoon, which I would let drown in a heartbeat.
Yeah, man. Bring Panzer Dragoon crowd
We're putting
back in.
20 on
We gotta save
Panzer Dragoon.
Nintendo. Save Nintendo.
That means we have one more game that we could spend $20
All right.
on.
Pragmatically, it's got to be Pokemon, right?
Why does it have to be Pokemon?
'Cause it'll sell the most.
Animal Crossing is going to sell a lot, too.
I think Pokemon will sell more.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
And I want to play it more than Animal Crossing, maybe.
Sure.
But I don't know. Looking at this list. Because the other ones are like some darlings,
Wait, how many more
but they won't
choices
sell
do we
as
have?
well.
Only
Link's
one?
Awakening
You
might
have-
sell really
I mean, you can say, like, hey, we're going to choose to rearrange the money. But right now, based
Yeah.
on what I've heard, you've got $40 on Breath of the Wild 2. You've got $20 on Metroid Prime 4. You've got $20 on the Panzer Dragoon remake. And you get one more choice.
I would
I
say,
can't
I'd say
choose.
Sword and Shield, probably.
Yeah.
Also, hey,
I
we
see
get
your
2
point.
SKUs
Oh, that's
for
true.
$20.
That's true. That's true. I didn't think of that. I did not think of that
Woo!
game. And all right. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So we're going to do Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Okay.
If you're
Feel-
cool with it.
It's tough.
What else is pulling at you, Don?
I mean, certainly.
I mean, like, we all want Luigi's Mansion to
Yeah,
win.
I guess
And
it's true.
all
We want Luigi
Link's
Mansion. We want
Awakening.
Bayonetta. We want Dragon Quest.
But you can only
We
fit so
want
many on this
Astral
book, Don.
Chain. All right. Yeah, I'll agree with you. I think that's true. That's a pragmatic choice.
See, I love the two different personalities because Ian's like, let them all drown, and Don's like, let's save them all. Really fighting
I'm
against
like,
each
we
other.
don't need video games.
All right, let's roll them dice.
Roll the
Okay.
dice.
So, just
Dude,
I'm gonna,
what if
one
we
more
save
time.
them all the ones we...
One more time.
It's going to be great.
Breath of the Wild 2, you're guaranteed saving at $40.
Nice.
Metroid Prime 4, you're taking a significant risk on at $20. Pokemon Sword and Shield, you're taking a risk on at $20. And finally, Panzer Dragoon Remake, you're taking a risk on at $20.
Yes, feels good.
All right. Which one do we want to roll for first?
Let's get it out of the way. Panzer Dragoon.
Okay. All right, Don, I'm gonna tap this coin on my phone, and it's gonna flip. If it is heads, it is saved. If it is tails, it is not.
Big money, big money, big money, big money, big money, big money. Oh yeah!
No, that's a tails.
What?
That's a tails. Yeah.
That's Lady Liberty's head.
No, flip it again. You can see the other side is heads.
Oh man, it's got George Washington's head on it.
Ultimate devastation.
The Statue of Liberty. Oh man.
The rules are the rules. The Panzer Dragoon remake is wiped from existence.
Depressed. This company is
It
doomed.
is vanished. It is vanished.
If I was in the CEO office, I would just start screaming, "We're doomed right now!"
right.
You would try to throw a chair out the
Do we-
window, but it wouldn't break.
Bounce back and hit me in the head.
face.
I pass
Do we-
out. 20 minutes later, I wake up and start screaming, "We're doomed again!"
And you're like, what happened? And we're like, we lost Panzer Dragoon here. We're gonna try it again.
Do we want Pokemon or
Sir, no.
Metroid
I'm
Prime
trying to
4?
jump out the window
Yeah.
and just bounce back.
What?
Pokemon or Metroid Prime 4?
Metroid Prime.
Okay.
Let's try it.
All
Roll the
right,
dice.
here we go.
Because our
You ready to
cash
flip?
cow.
This is like a slow flip
Pokemon's
too.
our
big money,
cash
big
cow.
money, big money, big money, big money, big money.
Damn it!
What the heck?
This
Man.
is rigged. Do the die.
Do the die.
Use the die. Evens and odds.
Go back to Panzer
Evens and
Dragoon.
odds.
So do you
Do
want
the
me to
die.
use
Yeah.
the die
Yeah.
for
Evens and odds.
Yeah, I don't
Evens and odds?
I don't trust
Evens
this
is
app.
heads, odds is tails.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Evens
That's a
and
good way to do
odds.
it.
You just do
By the
evens
way,
and
Metroid
odds.
Prime 4 is gone.
Yeah, damn.
Wait, we can't redo Panzer Dragoon with the die?
You only get one.
Oh, man.
We're
You only
using
get
the
one.
die for whatever the other one.
Pokemon.
Pokemons.
All right, so evens it succeeds.
How on
Tails
earth?
or odds it does not.
Yeah. Right? 1, 3, 5,
Right.
7,
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
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 Evens
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Evens and odds.
Wait, is that?
it's
Yeah.
equal.
Okay.
That's good.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
You're all making me go crazy here. I'm like, wait, what is this?
money,
Do
big
the
money.
die! Do the coin! Do the die!
All
All right, here we go. Last one.
Big money,
two,
big money,
two
big
of the
money,
three
big money, big money, big
are
money,
out
big money,
forever.
big money, big money, big money, big money, big money. Here we go. Oh, it fell off the edge.
We're not gonna,
Doesn't count.
D&D rules, we don't count it.
Yeah, don't count.
We don't count it.
Good.
All right, one more time. One more time.
Big money, big money, big money, big money, big money, big money, big money.
Fuck!
Wow.
See? They
Man.
all would have drowned.
Yeah, but the next three might be even.
They all would have drowned if we went
All
your
right,
way.
so Pokemon is gone.
So all we have is Zelda. That's it, right?
It's enough.
Oh,
Zelda's-
that would have been
What was that?
a that would have been a 6. One more roll.
I told you. See, we're gonna get 3 evens in a row now.
Do you want me to do
rolling,
2
keep
more?
rolling, keep rolling.
Okay. You want me to do
Look at this.
2
3
more?
evens now. All right. Well, that was
It was a 5.
This is a very heavy die.
my lucky streak has been broken tonight. You're precious.
We didn't have a
Hotake.
streak.
Your Hotake has broken my
We got
streak.
it all wrong, Doc.
So Nintendo is furious at you. The only game they have coming out is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild
That's
2.
enough.
And hopefully that'll be enough to save them.
The
Metroid
first-
Prime. Here are all the games that will not come out. Animal Crossing New Horizons. Metroid Prime 4. Astral Chain.
We
Fire
tried.
Emblem 3 Houses. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Luigi's Mansion 3. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Link's Awakening Remake, Bayonetta 3, a lot of 3s, No More Heroes 3, The Panzer Dragoon Remake,
We fought hard for it. We fought
Dragon
hard.
Quest 11S. None of those games are coming
Here's
out.
the deal,
Jeez.
man. The cream is gonna rise
Yep.
to the
Yeah.
top.
Yep.
We've separated the wheat from the
They'll
chaff, or whatever
they'll
it's
announce Breath of the Wild 2 as to be released with the XL, not the Mini, the Switch XL.
called. Everyone's like texting about like, oh, earthquakes.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like,
Our
are you
phones are
alive?"
all going
Yeah,
crazy.
we're just
We're fine.
That was really
other
fun.
than Nintendo going belly up,
Well,
we're cool.
yeah,
We're
destroyed
cool.
Despite
Nintendo.
the oblivion of Nintendo's games, but yeah, you guys were into that. Which
That was
I
fun, man.
That was
happy about.
fun.
Are we ready to end the show with some emails?
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right. Our first email asks about love.
Third track.
Are you ready? Now that you've done so much killing, are you ready to talk about love?
Yeah.
Rodrigo asks, "Hi Ben and Allies. I was wondering if you could talk about a topic that I feel is rarely touched upon when discussing video games, and that is, what are some of your favorite video game romances? What are your favorite love stories in games? Even the most violent and action-heavy games continue to make place for love, and with it being one of the core tenets of human existence, it's an omnipresent topic that has and is tackled in so many different ways. So there it is. Really wondering what you think about it."
The Last of Us Left Behind.
That's a good one to
Was
bring
a good
up.
one?
That's a good one to bring
I
up.
thought that was nicely done.
There are two that immediately spring to mind for me.
What are they?
Zidane and Garnet from Final Fantasy IX really gets me. I like that one a lot. And then Welkin and Alicia from Valkyria Chronicles really gets me too. I think that one was good. But it also makes me realize that there aren't that many video game romances that I'm like super into. There are a lot that happen,
Surprised that a bunch didn't
but
pop in my mind
not
at
too
all.
many that I like. I'm super invested in.
Like Suikoden didn't really have any. Just the relationships were really good, but not romantic relationships.
A lot of bonding in wartime.
In
Suikoden.
Mass Effect 2, what's her
Oh,
name?
Mass Effect is good.
I didn't even
What's
think
her
of
name?
that,
Liara?
Yeah.
But they botched it, I think.
It was
like in
weird.
the series,
It
like
got-
she
it got
became
weirder
the
over
thing, and then
time.
it like
Yep.
was all. I remember I even said like, let's not save the universe. Let's just
Yeah.
get married and go be together. And she was like, I have things to do, and I was like, this
Yeah.
is dumb.
Yeah, sharp character turn for Liara.
Yeah, it was like weird.
Still probably my favorite character in that series.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to think about that. There are a lot of characters I like.
there are a few good ones in 2.
Yeah, two is
2's the one.
pretty damn good.
2's the hotness.
Yeah, nothing else pops into mind.
Nothing else pops into mind. Well, it keeps doing it. If any pop into mind, those were the two that popped into my mind. Yeah, I think are really good. Final Fantasy 10 as well.
Yeah, I thought of 10. It was sort of weird. I mean, I played 10 and 10 too, but it was so long ago. I can't remember if they just kind of like were in love suddenly, or if it like actually.
It was very
developed.
much like people from different places kind
Yeah,
of coming together and bonding.
But it seemed like a foregone conclusion to me the whole time. It was like, well, these two are clearly going to hook up at some point. But I don't know.
a little bit too obvious for you.
Maybe. I mean, it's been so long. I'm looking at it through the lens of memory.
Next email comes in from Max, who says, "Experiences with chess. Hey, allies, your recent top 10 One More Time games video got me thinking about my recent experience with chess. I've played video games my whole life, but only recently started to delve into the world of online chess. While I'm still a complete novice, I've found that after I spent just a little time learning basic tactics and strategy, chess has proven to be an incredibly fun and rewarding game. Not only that, I sometimes find myself playing online chess for several hours at a time without realizing time has passed at all. Do any of you have any good experience with chess or another game that isn't necessarily video games?"
Yeah, I used to play chess a ton.
Nice.
I loved chess when I was younger, to the point where I was like on a team. I went to chess
Whoa.
camp. Me and my friend would be like reading. We would like spend our summer reading like openings, strategies, and they had whole books of just chess strategies you could read, openings and stuff. So I was like way into it. I played a lot over my life, but when I was older, not quite as much. I mean, I play with my pops still sometimes when I visit him, but
This is incredible. new
Risk I
information.
found, I'm a massive fan of Risk.
I did not know that.
And Risk shares, a lot of similarities to chess in many ways, just in terms of like control over the board and everything, and the way, you're restricted in movement, but in a lot more complex. And there was quite a while where you've heard of people playing chess at parks. Me and my good friend were on a streak where we were going regularly to this park and hanging out, and we play Risk.
That sounds
Which you can imagine setting up
awesome.
the Risk board.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Unless we get stuck at a bench without shade, sometimes.
How
that'd be
long
rough.
ago was this?
That was like, we probably haven't played we haven't played at a park probably in a couple of years. Yeah. So it was probably like a period of time a couple of years ago, from like 5 years ago to like 3 years ago, or maybe even longer.
Have you ever played
But,
Diplomacy, Don?
Did we play
Diplomacy.
once?
I've played
That
it.
sounds real
many
familiar.
times.
It's fun, like envisioning you ask that in a general sense. Like, have you ever been a diplomat?
Have you ever been a
No,
diplomat?
I don't believe it. Yeah.
I love diplomacy. You would like
I
diplomacy.
think maybe you described that game
It's
to me
like
before,
Risk,
and I
but
didn't
without
get to play
any
it.
dice. So it's all just decisions.
No chance involved.
Yeah, which I prefer
Yeah.
personally. But like, oh boy, diplomacy is brutal. My cousin betrayed me in it one time, like, a decade ago, and it still comes up. He'll like still bring it up. He's like,
He betrayed.
he brings it up. I don't bring it up, but he's just like something changed when I backstabbed you in that game of diplomacy. You never looked at me the same. And I was like,
I used to play chess with my dad quite a bit, and that was cool because with video games, like we used to play games together, but it very quickly got to a point where like I got so into games and so obsessed with games that he was like, I can't do that. Like I don't play. I'm not invested in games in the way that you are way too obsessed with them. And so we would play chess, and that was just like, it was something that he introduced me to that he was really into, and we'd play together, and that was really fun. And then I believe I had Chess Master. I don't know if you guys ever played Chess Master on Game Boy and Genesis. I definitely had one or the other, but I would play that a little bit too. But I haven't played chess in forever. And this email, just reading it, I was like, oh, I'd be down for a game of chess. I don't know if I'd like want to play online, but like, I don't know. Getting together with
Jason
somebody would be cool.
Wishnow's been getting really into chess lately.
Interesting.
I played Go instead of chess.
I don't think I've ever played Go.
Go is the Chinese black and white little guys. It's about like territory control. I really like it.
I never learned how to play it. You'll have
It's
to
cool.
show
It's
it off
kind of a
sometime.
funny thing because like when playing it in real life, I've never lost because I've always had to teach the person I was about to play right before I played them. And like obviously I teach them the actual rules. The rules are pretty simple, but like, it's a hard game. And then I'll play against the computer or something and just get decimated.
When I go home to the Midwest, card games tend to like just actual, not like Magic the Gathering, but like actual card games. We tend to play them, and it's like I only do them once or twice a year, like pretty infrequently. And it's always like, wait, how do I play this again? I don't know if you guys have that with board games or card games where it's like you don't play them enough for the rules to completely stick every time.
My family, we play copious hours and hours of board games and card games when we're together. Hearts is a big one. Spite and Malice is a big one. A lot of, Wizard, Five Crowns, a bunch of card games, and like board games too.
Back in the day, besides that pinball game, I would play like Hearts on the computer, because it was installed. And I feel like I never completely understood how to play Hearts.
Hearts is
like
great.
I like half understood how to play Hearts.
I love Hearts.
Yeah, I enjoyed
It's one of my favorite card
messing
games.
around with it. I would like to learn more about it. Card games are, man, I get way into card games. Our last frame trip question comes in from Tyler. It's a bit of a long one, so strap up. It's another game. It's actually kind of similar to the HOTTAKE. Hey, Ben and Allies, I would like you all to imagine a world where Smash Brothers was never created. So, an ideal world for you.
Great, yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
However, in this world, a lesser-known Nintendo game director who gained some attention for helping to create the Kirby series is suddenly struck with an idea for a game that could change everything. He wants to create a Nintendo mascot fighter, but it has got to be different than most other fighting games. He wants platforms, and instead of draining health, you have to knock your opponent off the stage. He gets to work right away, starting with what characters to put in the game. So, Allies, what Nintendo characters make the cut? You must follow the same format as the original Smash Brothers. 8 characters with 4 unlockable. And this is based on Nintendo games' popularity today with no third parties yet.
Oh, so he had the idea today.
Yeah, so it's now, based on what's popular now. You could argue in this timeline that games like Fire Emblem would not be as popular over here since Smash was not out, but we won't get that deep. Just base it on how popular games are in this timeline. This is also not based just solely on popularity either. You could argue for more niche fight characters based on how beloved they are by fans. For example, F-Zero has been gone for ages, but you could argue Captain Falcon based on the want for a new game. And just because he's a fan favorite. This doesn't need to be just a ranking of Nintendo's most popular franchises. Plus, it would be a very Sakurai thing to do to put someone like Duck Hunt in the game. So he also lists examples as well and gives us characters to think about. I can rattle some of those off if we get stuck, But if you could make Smash right now?
You have to do 12?
You have to do 12. Or just as many
I
as
mean,
we could
obviously
think of.
Mario.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I think you have to do Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, Mario, Luigi. Link, probably.
Yep. And, I'm going
And
to
then
argue for
probably
Peach.
Zelda.
I'm going to argue
Oh,
for
Peach.
And I
Yeah.
think Zelda, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet he would put Kirby in it.
Yeah. I think Kirby. I feel like we're just...
We're just
we're
these
just
are all
making
already
Smash.
in.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
right.
Donkey Kong.
Well, I mean, like, it's like they were there for a
All right,
reason.
the two Ryu Hayabusa
We
from
can't do third parties.
Wave Race. Oh,
Or
from Wave Race 64. Yeah.
Or, I think you were saying Ryu from Street
You
Fighter.
would put Wave Race characters
No,
in there.
we can do it.
That'd be
We can
sweet.
do it. Ryu
Can you
Hayabusa from Wave Race.
Yeah. And
Wave Race, baby. There we go. We need a Don for this.
Yeah.
This is good.
what other?
I mean,
Nintendo
Yoshi probably.
Yoshi.
I like the weird ones, though.
Well, I'm just going by popularity.
And he says we don't have to go for popularity. I guess we do have to make a case for them. I think
Well,
Don's love
Bayonetta
deserves
is
his case.
now a Nintendo property.
Wait,
no,
kind of.
there's no more Heroes, a Nintendo
It's-
property. That
so
is right.
Nintendo, yeah, it's not created by Nintendo. So I think that is kind of a stipulation that we have, is that it has to be created by Nintendo.
Okay, so that wouldn't count. No more Heroes. What would be another good one? We've just named a bunch that are
Samus would
already in.
probably-
I've always really liked Dixie Kong. I think Dixie Kong is
yes,
cool.
Dixie's
Can we put
awesome.
Dixie Kong
Yeah.
in the game?
Sure.
All right.
Love Dixie Kong.
Remember, so we have 8 regular and then 4 unlockable.
I still think Samus would go in there probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what if we... Okay, Samus, yes, I love Samus, of course. Let's just put... Mother Brain?
I was like, he wouldn't say it.
Yes,
He wouldn't.
Mother
What
Brain.
do? That would be
Mother
sick.
Brain. Look, come on, we can do it. Let's just do it.
Yes, it would be
I don't even know how
awesome.
that would really work.
I know. Like, how would it work? Would it
You
be
just
amazing?
float around.
But let's get a little bit weird with it.
That would be so cool.
Mother Brain.
I love
and
it.
we could put Samus in as well.
Sure,
So how many
yeah.
do we have right now?
I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 already.
Okay, so 3
I think
to
Mother
go.
Brain
Most
would
of
be
them
an
are already-
unlockable.
Yeah. Jeez. What are some other Nintendos?
I really like the addition of Inkling. I would put Inkling in.
Yeah, I thought Inkling would be great.
But that shit, man.
I know,
it's
it's
kind of
tough
a
to think
bummer.
the ones that are not.
Yeah, it's a bummer thinking of a character that's already in there.
Yeah.
What about like just a cart from Mario Kart?
Just a card.
A driverless cart.
We're putting it in. I'm way too
Can
in
it have
love
the wooden wheels
This
at
is
least? Those
cart.
wooden, can it have those wooden wheels on it?
And it just
And
goes
the
beep, beep.
announcer,
The big
man.
wooden ones.
Cart.
Cart.
Okay, so we've got 10. We got 2 more. That's the caliber that I'm
Yeah,
looking for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Cart.
idea.
Cart.
Um,
Oh, okay. This is just dumb. I'm sorry. But the flagpole from Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Ma-
that would be
Master Hand.
sick,
The fact
dude.
that you went,
That'd be
oh,
so
for the
hard. No, I was
flagpole.
just thinking what a challenge that would be. It would be a hard opponent.
Are we putting that in?
Yeah,
I think
even.
the mechanics for
Flags
the
in.
flagpole, you can't move, but if any other player touches you, they go to the top of the flagpole and they're just done. It locks them out.
Or maybe if you could, like, you couldn't move, but the flagpole's like always vertical all the way through the entire height of the stage, and the flag can move super fast up and down or attack
and it
left
can
or right,
hit you.
so
Yes,
you
yes,
can't
yes.
move, but you can attack.
One
like,
of the
up anywhere
specials-
super, you know.
One of the specials could be fireworks.
Oh yeah.
Other inanimate objects like coins, Master Hand.
The Master Hand was
Wait, so
playable, I guess.
When you
Oh,
say
yeah, it
Ryu
was at some
Hayabusa,
point.
that's the name of a character in Wave Race and not Ninja Gaiden. Is not what you're thinking?
I think it's the same name
Is
though.
it?
I
Okay.
believe so. I might be
I'm
mixing
not
it up
familiar
though.
with
It
Wave
may
Race,
not
so-
be. I thought it was Ryu also, but it's definitely Hayabusa. I think it's the
First, I
same
just thought
name.
you were saying Street Fighter and then Hayabusa.
No,
I'm
I think they
it
use
makes
the
me think of
same
Ninja Gaiden.
name. Yeah, I believe
Okay.
they use the same name.
All right,
I
we
could
got one
be
more
wrong.
spot. You know Wave Race, I don't.
I could be
gotta
wrong.
be a
I think I'm
good
right
one.
though.
Okay, what are the big other franchises that we haven't?
Or what are some of the forgotten ones that haven't had the sequels they should have? Don't know.
No guest characters?
No, it has to be made by Nintendo.
Okay. So no Rayman or anything.
Rayman's good though. It's
Yeah,
a good
Rayman
pick.
would be a good one.
I wanted to be something kind of dumb.
All the blood that they cut out of the version of Mortal Kombat.
Super
that got,
Nintendo.
That's a
it got,
really good idea.
It got like
all the butter
saved
blood.
up.
It could be the butter blood. What?
All the real blood that they took
okay.
out. They put it in a room.
But that's Mortal Kombat wasn't made by Nintendo.
Well, yeah, you're right.
That's true. That's true.
But Nintendo took all the blood. And they put it in an elevator in the Shining Hotel.
Okay, what about like Wart from the end of Super Mario Bros. 2?
Oh. Or the what's the rat? You know, the rat.
Mauser?
Yeah, Mauser could be kinda
Mauser
cool.
throwing bombs?
Yeah, Mauser could be kind of sick.
Do Mauser? I don't even really like Super Mario Bros. 2, but just something weird that hasn't
I
been done.
like it. I like
What about
Yeah.
what about a weird meta character called Offscreen? And its power is it's never on screen, but you can go around the edges of the screen and then just throw like dry bones or like lava up or like a cheap fish.
What about
But always
what
from
about-
off screen.
How could you attack? How would you know how to attack it? It'd be
That
hard.
doesn't really
It'd be
feel like a
tough. That'd be a
character,
tough
though.
opponent. It'd be
It's
a tough
like
opponent.
it's like like a
Like,
weird
the announcer
force.
just goes off screen.
or like poltergeist or something. I don't know.
kinetic
what
energy.
about a
Boo.
dry bones?
A dry bones would be pretty good.
Oh yeah, dry bones. Fishbone would be cool.
Yeah.
If you could like fall apart at will and then reassemble
yeah.
to that's your dodge.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like dry bones. I like Mauser. That was a good one.
The announcer himself.
I really.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
He just
Announce.
says like sound waves.
Yeah.
Announcer.
Me.
Me.
I think I'm gonna lock in announcer. I don't even know how conceptually that would work. I feel like we're kind of breaking the rules
Just a
here.
guy.
All right. So here's who would be.
Dr. booth.
Here's who I think would be part of the standard 8. So Mario, Luigi, all the boring ones. Link, Zelda, Kirby, Samus. I think Dixie would be
Oh
part
yeah.
of it.
Oh yeah.
Let's
Flagpole.
let's make Ryu Hayabusa the last standard 8, and then
Yeah.
we'll
I
make
gotta check if I'm wrong about that. I would feel terrible.
we'll make Mother Brain, driverless cart, flagpole, and announcer the unlockable characters.
Yeah.
There you,
You get
go.
weird
That's what
in
we
DLC.
do with Smash Brothers. Yeah, let me know if that is indeed Ryu Hayabusa. Thank you to everybody who wrote in. If you do want to send in an email to Ask Easy Allies and have us get dumb, the email address is askeasyallies@gmail.com. One more time, that is askeasyallies@gmail.com. Big thank you to my panel for joining me. Ian, you don't
been
get
a
to be on
pleasure.
Frame Trump all that often, so I appreciate it. And Don, for
I
the
was
very first
close.
time.
I was close.
What was it?
Ryota Hayami.
Close.
You know, Ben, I think I was thinking Ninja Gaiden,
Yeah.
but I meant Ryota Hayami.
Yeah.
You were close.
That was the one. And we could throw in Ayumi Stewart too. She's cool.
We're at
I don't know who it is.
The female wave
We're
racer.
capped out.
Okay. Well, which one do you want? Do you want Ryota or who is it?
Ryota Hayami, yeah.
Ryota Hayami.
Ryota Hayami.
Yeah.
So Ryota Hayami.
Yeah.
It's who we put in a special. Now Ryu Hayabusa's in it.
Yeah. He somehow.
All right, that is going to do it for Frame Trap. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.